welcome to the Desert Gaming Podcast 2014 edition. The date is January the 8th, 2014. Welcome to the new year. Jackson is my co-host, and so is Brian.
Hello.
Disturbing!
That was Jackson for the record.
Posing as Richtofen. I took care of all that, apparently. What's news? Let's get started right away. Let's get us all out of the way. Lots of news. We're a week late because of holidays, New Year's. We were all on vacation. Who cares? CES is going on this week, so... stuff. Releases have also been slim because of the holidays, but Don't Starve is out on PS4. We got a little bit... Jack and I got a little bit hands-on with that just before this podcast started. And
although I've had a little more than Tyler because I downloaded it first at home.
Yes.
First.
Yeah, it's also free to PlayStation Plus members, which is awesome.
But really, if you're going to purchase it, if you so choose, it is $15. Just buy PlayStation Plus.
There's no reason
Honestly,
not to.
There's no reason not to, and you get a ton of free games. Even if you don't have a PS3 or a PS Vita, you can sync them up to your account in case you do get one later. And speaking of getting one later... that was an awkward segue.
Strange segue.
We're gonna segue.
Anyway, if you're going to get a PlayStation Vita, I very highly recommend that you do so quickly because Sony released the new iteration of the PlayStation Vita in Japan, and they ditched the OLED screen in favor of an LCD screen, which looks like ass.
Why would they do such a horrible thing?
Dunno.
They're smart people. Not really.
So what is Don't Starve, for those who don't know?
Don't Starve is this amazing 2D survival game, sort of similar to Minecraft, but in a much more... What is that? What is that, like, dark art style?
Like a gritty...
It's like a dark and
gothic.
gritty kind of... Yeah, kind of a gothic style to it, with strange magics and kind of steampunk machines, and... I mean, there's not many, because you're stranded in this strange 2D plane island thing, and there's all these strange things like pigmen and sarlacc pits that teleport you to other sarlacc pits. They're not actually called sarlacc pits, they just look like it. Or you can refer to them as asses with teeth. It's up
Probably
to you.
the safer thing to do, because nowadays if you use the word sarlacc in anything, you might get sued by Disney.
Yeah, so next time on the show, we'll be covering our own lawsuit with Disney, because they're suing us for saying sarlacc pit. But Don't Starve is made by Cly Entertainment, and they've made things like Mark of the Ninja and Shank, which were two amazing games that I have not touched yet.
I'm going to correct you. It's actually pronounced Clay.
Clay? What did I say?
Cly.
Did I say Cly?
Yes. Okay, so with that, we're going to move into our PlayStation Plus perks. So our PlayStation Plus perks have been announced for January, and they are as follows. Don't Starve for the PlayStation 4, DMC Devil May Cry for the PlayStation 3, BioShock Infinite for the PS3, Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons for the PS3, awesome game. As for BioShock Infinite, do we want to comment on that real quick?
I'm just surprised it's free so quick.
Did we talk about it in the first podcast, our opinions of it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Briefly.
Yeah, we've been over BioShock Infinite.
Yeah, we don't need to talk about it again.
Alright, so Worms Battle Island for PS Vita, Smart as ... for PS Vita, and just a real quick reminder, Borderlands 2, Shadows of the... Shadow of the Colossus, Ico, however the hell that's pronounced.
Who cares?
Oddworld Stranger's Wrath,
There you go.
Uncharted 3, XCOM Enemy Unknown, Grid 2, and Resogun are still available free for PlayStation Plus members. Grid 2 will be expiring in 5 days. Not sure what the other offerings are going to be, but I suspect the current ones will be expiring sooner rather than later, so jump on that.
Get them while you can, folks.
Oh yeah.
And for the competition, Xbox Live's Games for Gold members of the month for January have been announced members for January. My words are working today.
Yeah, we can see that.
Basically, there's 2 new games for January that are free. It's Sleeping Dogs and...
Woo! I can play it now!
And Lara Croft and the Guardian of Light.
What?
Lara Croft and the Guardian of Light.
That's a game?
Apparently.
Do we know anything about it?
You'd think it'd be called Tomb Raider. They've all been called Tomb Raider.
Maybe they wanted to distance themselves from it because no one knows what it is.
But everyone liked the last one.
Well, the Tomb Raider reboot was
Is
awesome.
this even a new game, or is it
No, it's an old
This
game.
came from before the most recent Tomb Raider.
Oh, okay. This was the attempted reboot before the other reboot.
Mm-hmm. And I think it was an XBLA offering.
Oh yeah. Was this the 2D side-scrolling one?
Yeah.
Okay, that one looked like ass.
Yeah. Well, it's not surprising. It is Microsoft's free games after all.
Yes, but Sleeping Dogs is pretty good. It was highly rated. And if you don't know, Sleeping Dogs was going to be the new true crime game, but it got either the company went under, I think, and someone bought it up. It was Square Enix that bought it up, and they rebranded it. And
it actually has worked out very well for them.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a. What is that?
That's Happy Dude.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, apparently my dog is snoring, and I didn't recognize his snoring for some reason. Anyway, it's gotten really good reviews throughout the media. It seems to be like the sleeper hit of whenever the heck it came out, 2011, 2012.
I think 12.
Yeah, I think it was 2012. Hey, this is the first sort of recent game that they've put on Games for Gold. I'm glad to see that Microsoft's starting to catch up with the quality of games they're giving away, PS Plus.
It's the first actually good game that they've put up, I think.
I mean, they have a whole 2 free games because that totally stacks up against PlayStation Plus.
Yeah.
PlayStation Plus has like 15 and relevant ones.
But these are just for the 360 too, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're not for the Xbox One.
Correct.
Because they still haven't done anything for Xbox One Gold members.
I wouldn't expect them to.
I don't expect them to either. They have this whole thing where they're trying to keep everything the same look throughout, but they're still keeping Xbox One apart.
The stupid thing is they went on record and they got rid of Xbox Live Arcade in Xbox One, and they're gonna they're trying to make it so like everything is games now. We're not separating it out, and nobody can find anything.
Yeah.
Okay, so on to the news, and the first bit of news is unfortunately kind of sad news. Over the holidays, Hello Games, its game development studio in Surrey Surrey?
Yeah, Surrey.
Ha! I can pronounce things. Sorry, English folk. English folk was destroyed by a flood. Hello Games is famous for recently revealing their new incredibly ambitious game, No Man's Sky, but they're more known for their Joe Danger, work on their Joe Danger series. The flood was caused by the River Way's banks breaking on the 24th. The news broke over Twitter. At Hello Games tweeted out, I remember reading something about, today we discovered that laptops can float, and I went, oh god, what happened? And it took me a while to remember who Hello Games was, and then I went, no, please tell me that game is not destroyed.
I still don't think they have any solid information on whether that game has been set back by a crazy amount or not. But
no.
Judging by the tweets, it doesn't look like it's very good news.
No, it doesn't. And basically, the main tweet was, oh god, water moves really quick. Hello Games has been totally flooded. Everything in the office has been pretty much lost, which is not comforting. And that game looked awesome, so I hope that they're able to recover as much as they can. And of course, our hopes and thoughts go out to them because we care more about the humans in the games, of course.
Oh yeah.
So we have not heard word that any of them were injured in the flood or that any of their lives are in danger. So that is hopeful at least. And our thoughts go out to them.
Oh no.
Okay.
Cool.
So on to some less depressing news. A man has set the Guinness. Let me try that again.
Book for the largest video game collection in existence.
Yes, 43-year-old Michael Thomason, an awesome name, by the way.
It is.
Of New York, earned his place in the Book of World Records for owning 10,607 games. And not only does Thomason own all of these games, but he also owns all the systems to play them on. He estimates that his collection is worth approximately $700,000 to $800,000.
I kind of have to wonder if any of those are duplicates.
I think that the Guinness Book checks that kind of stuff.
Okay. So I'm wondering if they would consider it different if they're the same game on different systems.
Probably not. Well,
because as frequently
that's a good question.
Because as frequently as we think of that in nowadays, even the old things, there were things for the Commodore 64, and then the same things was on the Sega Genesis, but they look completely different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, but console exclusivity was really, really important way back then. But I mean, that's not to say that there weren't third-party games that came out on multiple platforms. It just didn't happen as often as it does today.
I'd be interested to visit, because that would be fun. I'd love to just go and pick out some random game and play.
I just want to go to New York. I've never been. Until The Division comes out, anyway. I
wonder how much space that many games take up.
There was a picture online of his game closet. I'll have to show it to you.
Oh, it's just all in a closet?
Yeah, it's all in a closet. And it's like, that is the most epic closet I think I've ever seen. That would have kept me in the closet. Nothing?
No.
Okay.
You get nothing for that.
Sorry.
Okay, you can leave now.
No, I'm not quite dozed off yet.
You contributed nothing! The Brian, everybody. A bit of sad news for you PlayStation lovers. PS3 classics Resistance, Fall of Man, and Gran Turismo 5 will be losing their online components, for Sony will be shutting down the servers in the first half of 2014.
Well, it's not too surprising. I mean, Resistance was a launch title for the PS3, but I have to wonder, and this is going to be a news story later, how is that going to work with Gaikai and PlayStation Now?
Well, I find it very interesting because Halo 2 didn't get its servers shut down until, I think, only 2.5 years ago. And that was an Xbox game.
Was it that late?
It was pretty
recent.
It might not have been that recent. It might have been a little bit longer than that, but it was an extremely long time.
All I know is that E from the Xbox team was involved with that. That's about all I know, but I don't remember the time frame for it.
I'm surprised about Gran Turismo 5, though, because
that series still sells gangbusters, and I realize that Gran Turismo 6 just came out, but come on, that's only one iteration behind.
There's a lot of people who still be playing Gran Turismo 5.
Well, I have to wonder if some of this is also Sony kind of trying to bring down some of their servers to convert them over to be used for PlayStation Now.
That's usually what it is.
So, anyway, as for PlayStation Now, we'll get to that a little later in the show. But for now, if you're into fighting games and Killer Instinct to really get your blood pumping, you'll be happy to know that the first free character rotation for Killer Instinct has occurred. So this means that you can't get Jago.
Jago? Which is it?
Stupid name ninja. He has been replaced with Saberwolf. So if you're really into that, go for it. I actually have Killer Instinct downloaded. I just haven't tried it yet because
I haven't tried it yet either. We should.
Yeah, we really should. Fighting games aren't my thing, but you know,
button mashing can always be fun.
It's free. Why not?
And from what I've seen of it, it looks pretty.
Oh, it does look. It looks gorgeous.
It looks beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Hey, my voice.
Did I steal your shtick? I'm sorry.
No, you stole my voice.
Your shtick voice?
I'm gonna sit here and write.
Don't get that pin away from me. I will kick you off this podcast so fast. No. A bit of news coming out of Respawn Entertainment. Apparently, the PC version of Titanfall will not be supporting mods at launch. Respawn's wording did provide encouragement to the fans of the PC version that the game will eventually get mod support at a later date. So that's a thing.
I'm not really surprised. I'm surprised that they're even going to allow mods to begin with because it's a multiplayer-centric game. So how do you support mods for that? I mean, there's systems like Minecraft, but that's not a competitive space. No. That's a cooperative space. So I don't know how it would support mods to begin with.
Sometimes there's standalone mods where they have to bring up their own servers. Cause usually the PC would have its own dedicated server system or rented servers, and you can add these mods and stuff to those servers.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
So there's that. So that at least there's a possibility in the future.
It's important to note that this, of course, is PC, as consoles still have no way to support mods.
Yes.
Womp womp. So this bit of news actually rocked the Twitterverse for a day. I got so tired of seeing this on my Twitter feed. Because my own reaction was just kind of a shrug. It didn't really surprise me in the slightest. So Microsoft's Phil Spencer spoke with OXM, which is official Xbox magazine, telling them that they actually debated about removing the disk drive in the Xbox One and making the console a digital-only platform. Does it surprise either of you?
That doesn't surprise me because of how hard they tried to push that at first when they first announced the Xbox One. And they tried to make it kind of a Steam platform type thing. Mm-hmm. And try to make it all digital only where you don't own the games, you just rent them and things like that. And it seems like it would have made more sense to not have a disk drive for that kind of system.
And realistically, with the way that the system was originally going to work, where you installed the disc and then you no longer needed it, discs were pretty pointless. So it wouldn't have surprised me. However, it does kind of step in the way of Microsoft's branding it as an entertainment machine, because then it can't play Blu-rays.
Yeah. I do find that kind of funny, though, because as much as people were so disturbed and distraught by the idea of that kind of system, the only game I really play on my PS4 that's not a downloaded title is Battlefield 4. I stopped playing Killzone just because I lost interest, basically. I need to go back and finish the story at least. But I pretty much only play the games that I've downloaded onto it. So I wonder how true that is for other people.
It probably is becoming more and more true because it's just easier. It's nice whenever I'm laying in bed, especially on these new consoles, to be playing Don't Starve and then go, you know what? I'm not really feeling this right now. I think I'll switch to Resogun and not have to move a muscle other than my thumb.
And it just takes 2 button presses. You press the PS button, go over to it, another button, bam, you're in.
I mean, realistically, if it wasn't for the fact that I don't trust digital distributed products right now because of DRM
and how licensing works with them.
The licensing and all that bullshit, I would probably go digital only with the Xbox One just for the instant switching thing. Because that is really nice. Anyway, according to Mr. Spencer, this discussion actually lasted all the way through last year's E3 press conference. So they were actually still considering this while they were being lambasted for the DRM stuff. Microsoft decided against it in the end, though, because the bandwidth required to support such a task would have been astronomical, and the lack of decent internet in certain places like the US, and the fact that it gives the Xbox One... Okay, I already went through this. It gives the Xbox One more versatility in terms of being an entertainment device, because you then can play Blu-ray.
Yes. That's true. I forgot about Blu-ray and stuff like that.
Wow, I misspelled this word. So let me try to.
I was wondering what word that was when I was reading this planner.
Let me try to pronounce this the way I typed it. The execurative.
Execurative,
yeah.
The executive producer of Army of Two.
Yeah.
Anyway, go on.
I don't spell check these things. I just type them.
You should use spell check, maybe.
As long as you can read it.
You couldn't at first.
Well, that's your problem. So anyway, this is kind of small news. The executive producer of Army of Two, The Devil's Cartel, has come out claiming that the shooter was always going to be, quote, underwhelming thanks to low team morale. Honestly, this game should not have even existed to begin with. The first game was just mediocre. I mean, it was good, don't get me wrong. It wasn't this great instant classic.
I thought it was. That was one of my favorite games of that year.
Really?
Yes, I loved Army of Two.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I love that game. It's a great game, but I wouldn't call it a classic. I'd call it a 6.5, 7 at the best.
I think it would have been kept in a much better light throughout these last few years if there hadn't been any sequels.
Yeah.
Because I tried the second one. And it wasn't that good.
We both tried it. It wasn't that good.
Yeah, we tried it together.
And we didn't even waste our time with the third one.
Yeah, the third one was just meh.
It was a good one-off game. It was something that was near and dear to some gamers' hearts that should have stayed just that single game.
It was just this amazing co-op experience that at the time wasn't a big thing. Mm-hmm. Which was something I loved because I started video games because of cooperative games like Halo. Mm-hmm. So
I remember our first communication over Xbox Live. You were still going to that internet cafe.
Oh yeah.
We were playing what was it? PDZ.
Oh yeah, Perfect Dark. It was not long after the 360 came out.
Yeah, it was not long after the 360. I remember because I didn't. The wireless internet adapter was stupidly expensive then.
Yeah. So
I didn't buy that. It was $100, and I was like, "Fuck that!" So I had to move my Xbox 360 into my living room while my mom was gone, to connect it to the internet so we could talk. And I was so excited. That was a lot of fun.
It was
good times.
It was. That actually reminds me of my first internet experience with video gaming. Because back when I first got my Xbox, I had basically the worst equivalent to dial-up, and that was first-generation satellite internet, because I lived in the middle of goddamn nowhere.
No, that was the worst. That was worse than dial-up,
yes.
And that's saying something.
Cloud went over, internet went down. I had less than 64 kilobits per second. It was awful, but I remember having to take my Xbox down into my parents' room where the router was, because it wasn't wireless at the time, and I had to put it on top of the dresser with this tiny-ass little camping TV just to try to play MechWarrior online.
Oh, God. MechWarrior? Are you sure you're not talking about Chromehounds?
No. This wasn't the 360.
This was the original Xbox. Oh, okay.
I was trying to play MechWarrior. Not MechWarrior Online, not the new MMO thing. I'm talking about the original MechWarrior game, and I was trying to play it online. It was fun until the internet died 6 minutes later. But I would do that occasionally with this tiny little camping TV that was like 5 inches wide and 5 inches tall. Winches.
Five winches tall.
No, there's a
he wakes up for
unit
that.
of measurement I can get behind.
I didn't think you liked getting behind units, Brian.
If they're winches.
Why would a winch have a unit?
Ooh.
Surgery.
Fable magic potions that are in bottles shaped like penises.
No offense intended to anybody out there who...
Yeah, we are joking around. It's not intended to offend.
It was merely because of my misspeaking. You understand.
And I woke up hearing about a bunch of winches.
See, he admits to falling asleep on the podcast couch. Anyway.
This isn't the big orange couch, Brian. Oh, you wouldn't understand that reference. You weren't a 90s kid.
No one understands that reference. No one.
You never watched Snick? Really?
I did. I'm just kidding.
Jeez.
They
even rolled out the big orange couch for a Snick revival thing not long ago.
Oh, yeah.
I was a 90s kid. I'm just almost...
You were just a boring 90s kid.
I watched Nova on PBS, yeah.
Like I said, no.
Moving on.
I was an introvert.
For a little while, it seemed that a next-gen entry of the Hitman franchise had been cancelled. The game was in development by Square Enix Montreal, whose senior game designer Richard Knight revealed that he had received word that the game had been cancelled? What?
Yeah, I actually saw that on PC Gamer, and I went, no, because I love the Hitman series, even though I haven't played Absolution.
I should have gotten it when it was on sale during the holiday sale on Steam.
I should have gotten it when
it was dirt cheap.
I should have gotten it when it was fucking free through PlayStation Plus.
Dun dun dun. Yeah. Mind blown. Square Enix, though, later came out to the press and clarified that the game had not been cancelled. It was just reassigned to IO Interactive. So, new developer. Hopefully this isn't another Duke Nukem Forever.
Well,
fast forward.
To be perfectly honest, Square Enix doesn't know what the fuck they're doing right now, and they have their head so far up their ass they can't see the light of day.
Have they ever known what the fuck they were doing when it wasn't Final Fantasy? Well,
they did Deus Ex a good turn.
That was them?
Yeah, they own IDOS, dude. That's the Western arm of the company.
Oh, yeah. I mean, before these recent weird games that they've been co-creating with these companies that they own, they've put their name on all things like Sleeping Dogs and things like that. They're branching out as a company, and that's
they're just a train wreck.
Are they?
Oh, they are. Final Fantasy, oops, we didn't mean it.
Oops, we didn't mean it again.
Yeah.
We played you so hard.
You
got lost in the game.
No. You don't get to sing that song. I'm the Britney Spears fan. Excuse me. I take offense to that, sir.
Sony announced at CES that at the close of 2013, 4.2 million PlayStation 4 units have been sold through to consumers, which is a term that we went over last time. So if you forgot, go back and listen through to consumer, which means that people actually have them in their hands and are going, "Squee, we have them, yes!" and then promptly dying of excitement.
Or getting murdered in mug for it.
That too!
To put that into perspective, Xbox One sold roughly 3 million units after 5.5 weeks on the market, and the Wii U has sold 3.91 million units in 11 months. Womp womp.
More with a womp womp.
Last gen, Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, I don't think Wii is counted in that. Womp womp.
Womp womp.
These consoles were lucky to sell 1 million units in 8 months.
Jeez.
Or not 8 months. 8 weeks. That's more accurate.
Though it is important to note that neither of these consoles were widely available due to manufacturing constraints at the time.
And,
So there's that. They did expand on their resources this time for these console launches because they actually realized that these things are popular.
Yeah. Microsoft and PlayStation did a good job keeping things in stores, keeping stock in stores as best they can. I'm not really too surprised to hear that PlayStation 4 seems to be outselling the Xbox One, because I've seen at my job that I'm not going to disclose a lot of people coming in and returning Xbox Ones.
Really?
Mm-hmm. But I haven't seen too many PS4s returned. Actually, the times that I work there, I haven't seen any PS4s returned. But we always seem to have a pretty steady stock of Xbox Ones.
I always feel a bit sad when I see things like that returned. Like, even if it's just a game. If I see a used version of something within such a short span of it actually being released, I feel like people didn't give it the good old try.
Well, it also could have been a fact that they were getting it for Christmas presents, and they
didn't want
they
it.
wanted the other one.
Yeah, they got 2.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Oh, yeah, there is that.
Sometimes you can give it the old try and just really realize you do not like this game within a very short time. Like me with Brink, where I brought it, turned it in for credit the next day.
And what was the most recent one? Bioshock. Bioshock Infinite.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't have bought it if I realized.
Well, I mean, things like that, that I can understand. But I mean, especially with a console where it has a predicted lifespan, and I think there's a lot of things left for the consoles to do for us. Like, especially with the Xbox One. The Xbox One didn't have as tight of a lineup, I think, as the PS4 did, because I'm still waiting for good games to come out on the Xbox One. I haven't touched it nearly as much as my PS4.
Well, we should
Rise is pretty awesome.
we should kind of elaborate console exclusives, because we're playing most of the third-party stuff on PlayStation 4.
That is true, actually. Thank you.
That's just because that's what we all have.
Yeah. If Brian had gotten the Xbox One instead of the PS4, we'd all be on Xbox One. So, literally, it was all Brian's fault.
It is. Jerk.
But yeah, on the flip side, actually, whenever PS4s come in and they're available, they're gone within an hour.
Yeah.
So
Amazon keeps getting them occasionally, and I mean, there's no big announcement or anything. People just find them, and then they spread it through Reddit or whatever, and then they're gone.
it's actually not. There's not a big announcement from Amazon, but there are retailers and there are other outlets like Kotaku Deals at Kotaku Deals on Twitter. Follow them. They'll often announce whenever a retailer has stock of the new consoles in.
Yeah, it's actually pretty funny because back with the 360 and the PS3, you could go up to your GameStop or your Best Buy or whatever, and you would say, "Do you know when you're getting the next shipment?" They'd tell you flat out.
Yeah.
But now it's just look for it on the shelf.
Yeah. Literally, we don't know.
Yeah.
Whenever we're getting shipments in, we don't know when they're coming in. All we know is that we're getting a delivery truck one day, and if they're there, they're there.
Yeah, they're coming in, but it's not as predictable.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I think it's better this way because there aren't the people just sitting waiting to flip it back on eBay.
Yeah. Well, and the other reason that they're kind of coming in spurts like this, is that Microsoft and Sony both are producing them and literally shipping them out as soon as they possibly can. So they're not coming in defined batches. They're just being trickled out as they get produced.
Yeah, and hopefully that doesn't mean there's this huge disparity in micro versions of the consoles, because with the 360 you could say, oh, I got the first batch of 360, so it died within the first year, and I'm hoping we don't have issues like that with these consoles, and you having to go into the serial numbers to find out which batch yours was in.
Well, and there was that issue, and I didn't put it in the planner, that Xbox One users were reporting oil leaking out.
Oil?
Uh-huh.
The fuck? Oh, and then there were the PS4s overheating and stuff.
Yeah.
So.
But that was probably because people put them in media cabinets.
That is true. I'm kind of glad I didn't shove mine into the small parts of my media cabinet. That I've got them up on top where they're in pristine view and beautiful. And blocking the infrared sensor for my TV.
The sentence is getting worse and worse by the second. I hope you realize.
I don't care.
Anyway, what Tyler's saying is he has multiple ones.
What?
Yeah.
That makes it seem like I have like 5 Xbox Ones.
Or 5 penises.
In other news, Tyler's house has been burglarized.
No, I have one of each.
That was a distressed Wookiee noise for those who were not aware. Or
Today,
a Wookiee
guest starring on the podcast, Chewbacca!
Welcome, Chewbacca! Oh god, what are you doing to my head?
It's Chewbacca with hemorrhoids.
I'm looking at the Audacity now, and oh my god! What have you done, Chewbacca? Okay, we put Chewbacca down. Moving on. Sony has also announced that approximately 9.7 million PlayStation 4 games have been sold to consumers. This is that term again, sold through to consumers. Someone do the math, please. Wait, what?
Someone do the math, please, because I think that's about 2 games per console for an attach rate, and that's pretty low, but not surprising for a new console that has a small game library.
Brian, that's why you're here.
Hey, what's going on?
Divide 9.7 million by 4.7? 4.2 million.
Do it.
That's about 1 for each.
Yeah.
1 for each?
Oh wait, no.
You mean 2 for each?
2 for
1
each.
for 2. Yeah, it's more than 2 for each.
Okay. Yeah,
It's just over 2.
It's a little over 2. But
That's about right, because I have 2 games, you have 2 games.
I have 5 games, sir.
At least 2 games.
But it's not surprising because the consoles library is very small right now. Give it a little time. I mean, look at the PlayStation Vita. Its attach rate for the Vita, 10. I think it's like 10 games.
Jeez.
Per Vita. So that means some people have more than that, and some people have less.
Yeah. But a 10-game attach rate, that actually makes more sense, though, for a handheld.
But it's also really impressive because you don't see that very much in today's market.
I'm actually interested in that number for Steam.
That'd be interesting.
That
to
would
find
be an
out, too.
insanely high number.
Yeah, because of their sales.
Oh, yeah.
So Microsoft continues to fight an uphill battle to prove that they're not such bad guys.
Sure.
Following Sony's announcement of the PlayStation 4 sales numbers, Microsoft's Phil Spencer, hey, it's that guy again,
Hey.
Was quick to come out and congratulate Sony on the sales figures. He stated, quote, Sony did a nice job with the PlayStation 4. So, round of applause for Sony. So the big news from Sony out of CES was that we finally know what Sony purchased Gaikai for.
Really?
Well, we've known what they were buying them for. It was a game streaming service. What else could they be buying them for?
Right. Whatever you say.
But now, PlayStation Now has been officially announced. So you may be asking, what is PlayStation Now?
What even is?
PlayStation Now is a, of course, game streaming service that will allow you to stream PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, and PlayStation 3 games to PlayStation Vita, PlayStation 4, mobile devices, and some televisions.
So that means that basically it'll be a form of backwards compatibility then.
Yes. Well,
Kind of.
yes, if it works.
If it works.
Knowing Sony, it probably won't. The service is expected to go into a closed beta towards the end of January. Yes, that is this month. There's been no word yet, though, from Sony regarding the price of the service, and yes, it will be a paid subscription service. I suspect something they may do is have an option for PlayStation Plus. You pay a higher price for PlayStation Plus, but it includes Gaikai with it. Or, excuse me, PlayStation Now with it. Either that or they're going to include it in the PlayStation Plus package, and they'll just bump the price up to $20 or $25 a month.
I think we lost Brian.
We can let you go.
Alright. I'm getting too tired to keep waking up.
Brian has been falling asleep on the couch since the podcast has started, and so now he leaves us.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now we make him go away.
Get out of here, you bastard!
Yo wee bastard!
You wee bastard, and your weenus. Get your weenus out of here, you slut. And now he's gone. He's gone, and I miss him.
Anyway.
Jackson, what is this feeling? I miss him so dearly.
Horniness?
No. But his couch cushion is warm, so.
Okay, and now Tyler is feeling where Brian's ass was. This just got awkward.
It's so warm. It was announced today that Titanfall multiplayer matches.
Hey, I'm not done. PlayStation Now will support online multiplayer, which again, if it's supporting online multiplayer, why did they drop the support for Gran Turismo 5 and Resistance Fall of Man?
Seems like a silly idea.
Yeah.
And again, maybe they had a bunch of servers directed for those games, and they needed to drop them, because that's what the thing was with Halo 2.
Mm-hmm. Players can opt out of the subscription system and choose to just rent games on a by-game basis, which is actually a pretty cool
that is
alternative.
cool. I might actually take that offer up at some point. Words talking like robot do not make stupid.
I think you were trying to say I might actually take them up on that offer.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Let's go with that.
Now you can do your news story.
It was announced today that Titanfall multiplayer matches will be kept at 6 versus 6.
What? 6 versus 6? That's absurd!
But there's also a bunch of AI bots running around not doing cool Titan-y things.
Honestly, it doesn't bug me that much because I have a tremendous amount of trust in Respawn. And
which is surprising because they made Call of Duty.
Well, I trust Call of Duty because Modern Warfare 1 was awesome.
Yes.
And that was with the core Infinity Ward folks in there doing the job.
Yeah.
So
Unless
that's the
they
people
left,
that
it kind of went down.
So those are the people that are actually working on Titanfall. So I have a tremendous amount of respect and trust in them.
They do know what the hell they are doing when it comes to
Exactly.
first-person shooters and multiplayer. So if they think 6 vs 6 keeps it balanced and fun and as hectic as they say it does, I'm going to believe them. Because we do need to keep in mind that you can set your Titan when you call it in onto an AI pilot so that you can have 6 Titans and 6 pilots jetpacking around on each team. So
And-
that's technically 24 major combatants, not including the AI.
And to be perfectly honest, if it's capped at 6v6 now, that means it was capped at 6v6 whenever it was shown to the press and whenever it was available to be played at public experiences like Gamescom.
That's
like
true. We
the
didn't think about
GameStop,
that.
like the GameStop Expo, and people loved that game. So obviously they didn't notice it.
Yeah, but I don't. There is one thing when they did say that there were. Oh, excuse me. That there's also the whole Titan AI thing. As soon as that was shown in the first gameplay footage of it, pretty much the whole internet's reaction was, "But why would we want to get out of the mech, ever?" And I kind of agree to that. But at the same time, having this giant hulking behemoth with tons of guns covering my ass is pretty epic.
Well, one of the reasons that you'd want to get out of the mech is if your teammates are off elsewhere and you're trying to capture a point, a lot of those points are probably going to be put inside buildings or in places that the mech can't get at.
I would
get
not
into.
be surprised if they did
So,
that.
I
And
mean,
it would be cool to have all of the pilots in that building and all
And
of
the
their
mechs,
Titans
yeah.
just covering the building.
yeah, because there is hi Mo.
Mo's fapping in the corner.
Anyway, but yeah, so I mean, there is a defensive mode for the Titans. So
Yes. I honestly just can't wait to play that game. I still regret not playing it at the GameStop Expo.
yep, we will regret that until the day we actually get to play it.
Yes. And then we'll hate the game, and then we'll wish we never even saw it in the first place.
Well, I don't know about that, but it's a possibility. Don't get me wrong. I'm not being overly optimistic. There is, of course, always a possibility that something that looks really, really awesome is really, really bad. Brink. But
Brink
BioShock
better.
Infinite. I know we're in the minority for that one, but
Yeah. Well, we're in the highly critical minority of it.
not. I mean, I kind of try to think of myself as being really highly critical of that game, but if you watch a lot of sci-fi, that plot twist, that entire alternate reality thing has been done to death, and that is why it didn't impress me.
Let's see.
So anyway, on that bombshell, no.
On that bombshell.
Kotaku has revealed details about an intriguing new game currently in development called Outrise. Outrise focuses on co-op battles against enormous bosses, and that makes the game. What makes the game unique is that the bosses aren't AI; they're actual human players.
Really?
Foot soldiers will have an access to a range of weapons and vehicles, and bringing down the boss may require that the soldiers climb up onto it. So it kind of
Ooh.
sounds to me like Halo going up against the Scarabs,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
intrigues me a
Or
lot.
Shadow of the Colossus, except with more than just you.
I need to actually try Shadow of the Colossus. It's free.
I've played a little bit of it. It's really
Have you?
good.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I played
Okay.
a long time ago back on PS2 when it first came out. Or not when it first came out, but about a year after it came out.
PS2
Very
or
interesting
PS3?
game. PS2.
Okay, because it's a PS3 game, you know. There is a PS3 version.
Yeah, there's a PS3 version. I'm talking about the PS2 version.
Okay. Yeah, I'll have to try it because it's free for PlayStation Plus, so that gives me good incentive to try it.
Anyway, back to Outrise.
Yeah, back to Outrise. The boss experience is entirely different for players because of the sheer amount of power that the boss will have, because you're a giant lumbering mech of a thing.
I'm hoping that doesn't make it
Unbalanced.
not exactly unbalanced, because the whole game is basically built around this idea.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm hoping it doesn't cheapen the experience of being a boss, because there's a lot of games that do this. They'll allow you to be this overpowered thing, and you feel like you're not as powerful as you should be.
Yeah.
Even though to the players that you're fighting against, you feel that the boss will feel overpowered. Things like this being the tank in Left 4 Dead 2, Left 4 Dead, when you played the player versus player mode, where the players were the special infected, and I don't know, sometimes being the tank like that, it didn't feel like it worked as well as it felt like it did to fight against them.
Well, and it's hard to maintain that balance, too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's just a difficulty of game development in the first place. And I was doing some research, and I honestly could not find any information about what platforms it will be on. But the game is in really, really early development. All we have is concept art for it right now. So it's possible that they haven't even settled on what platforms they're going to be going through yet.
Yeah.
I'm hoping it'll come to consoles. because that will inspire me to play it more.
That would be very nice. But it does seem like the kind of thing that would be on PC. High player count games, like what they seem to be doing, is usually a PC thing.
Mm-hmm. Although, bear in mind, 64 players on Battlefield 4.
That is true, but that is still just 32 versus 32. Mm-hmm. But that could mean 63 versus 1. That would be pretty cool.
Yeah. That's Happy, by the way, if any of you are wondering.
He's our second mascot.
He's clearing his throat.
He's usually loud and noisy, so he's out somewhere else. But
well,
he's here now.
Yeah,
choking.
Well, he's actually relaxed tonight, so I allowed him to stay in tonight. He's looking at me
glaring.
He's looking at me like I hate you so much.
And our other mascot, Mojo, is just snoozing on the other couch.
So our final bit of news comes out of Criterion Games. Criterion Games co-founders Alex Ward and Fiona Sperry have left the company in order to form their own development company that I couldn't find the name of. I guess they grew tired of making Need for Speed and Burnout games because...
Well, they haven't made a Burnout game in years. Maybe they wanted to go back to that.
Well, that's true.
I mean, they can't use Burnout, but they can make their own thing.
They can make a spiritual successor. Or maybe they can do the one thing that they fucking should be doing, Black.
Go back to that shit.
Anyway. Best of luck to them. Forming a new studio is always difficult unless you're Vince Zampella, so... yeah. Let's all take a collective deep breath because the news is finally done.
And I think we actually finished it up quite quickly and easily, and better than ever before.
Yeah, we're being a little more efficient, and we actually have an 8-page planner this time.
So, yeah,
and I didn't space them all out the way I normally do, so...
It's looking good. It's looking good.
Yep.
And we haven't had to cut yet.
No, not yet.
Surprising.
Yeah.
So, what are you playing, Jack?
Holidays are usually the time whenever all of us catch up on games. For me, it's the time that I step away. No, over the holidays I didn't play too many games. I started playing Persona 4 on the Vita. Persona 4 Golden. Oh my god. Now I see what people are talking about. That game is awesome.
You need to let me borrow it at some point.
Well, you need a Vita.
I mean the Vita. He's giving me this look that means like you touch it, you die.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I guess I never get to play Persona 4.
You do need to pick up a Vita whenever you're in a better situation.
Does anyone want to send me a Vita? I will sign it and then keep it. No.
Sony will give you good publicity if you give us a free
Sony, sponsor us.
Shuhei, are you listening to this podcast? Please be listening to this podcast. That'd be awesome.
Is he the one that speaks English too?
Yeah, Shuhei Yoshida. He's basically kind of like their media HR guy.
Oh, okay.
Or not HR, PR guy.
Because there's who was it that keeps needing a translator whenever he steps on a...
Is it Kaz? Kaz Hirai. He's their CEO.
Oh yeah, might be him.
Yeah.
I'm so good with these high-profile names, people.
I actually do my gaming development research. But yeah, that game is amazing. I'm only about 4 or 5 hours in, and it finally opened up. I'm finally out of the tutorial, which would normally be a negative, but the game just immediately sucked me in. It's kind of all done in an anime style, so it's all like... It would honestly make it a very good standalone anime show.
Isn't Persona 4 the one where they finally went completely animated?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And I tell you, that game is so good. I need to play more of it. I was hoping to play more on my vacation. I went to Disneyland. I was hoping to play more on my vacation, but Disneyland is not exactly conducive to playing games. At least not the way I do it. So, there was that. And then I've been playing Don't Starve, which we kind of touched on earlier. That game is amazing. The funny thing is it's not addicting to me. Because I've played a lot of games like it.
It is easy to put down, but at the same time it's easy to keep playing.
Yeah.
But it's one of those games that's very high investment, and when you do lose, it is very crushing.
It is. Especially if you've gone really, really far into the game. I think my record right now is 7 days.
I stopped playing back when I first got it, because I played a lot of lives. I've died quite a few times. And when I finally got to 20-something days, I slowly stopped playing it as long, like during each session, because I didn't want to lose that progress I've made. Because you know it's going to happen. Someday, you'll starve. Which is surprising, because I haven't actually starved in that game yet.
I've gotten really close to it. One thing I've learned is don't sleep.
No, you can sleep. There are ways to sleep.
No, I know. I'm saying don't sleep because I woke up and I was starving to death.
That's how they balance it. But there's a camping tent you can use. Anyway, we're not actually going to go through a vocal gameplay of the game, but I actually did the opposite of starving to death. I was almost dead, and I decided to eat to help my health, and I ate something poisonous.
Very nice.
Luckily, I had one of the
healing things?
not the meat effigy, but the pig altars or whatever they are. They have pig heads around them. I had one of those, so I was allowed to keep going.
Huh. So that's what that is.
Yeah, it's this weird log thing you activate and it goes.
Yeah, I think I've encountered that. Anyway, so I have to regale you with my stories of death.
Stories of death.
In Don't Starve. My first death, I discovered, and this is kind of... I'm going to just slap a spoiler on this if you want to go into Don't Starve blind and you don't want to know anything about the game before you play it. So if that's the case, don't listen for a couple of minutes here. But anyway, so my first death, I'm kind of getting along, learning the system, and I knew that it gets really pitch black at night, but I had not gathered enough wood. So
not even for a campfire or anything?
Not even for a campfire or anything. So I was like, okay, well, shit. Now I can't see anything, so obviously I can't gather wood. So I'm like, well, okay, I'll just kind of wait it out. I'll be all right. I just can't see anything. I just don't have to move. And then all of a sudden, something hits me, and I see, what was that? And I went, oh, fuck. Very suddenly, I discovered why nighttime is something to be feared in Don't Starve. So here was me, running around like a chicken with my head cut off, from firefly to firefly to firefly, like, no, last more than half a second, and darkness killed me. As I texted to Tyler, darkness has bitten and torn off my balls in a frenzy of pain and death.
It's a very beautiful text message.
My second death occurred about day 4 or day 5. And it was because I was kind of dumb. So I'm doing pretty good. I've got I've got a fire pit, so I'm not worried anymore about losing
base setup.
Yeah.
You know.
I had sort of a base setup. I had part of a wall made.
Oh, nice.
I had my science machine all ready. So I was exploring. I was looking for poop because I wanted to farm, and you have to find beefalo poop for that.
Yes.
So I was looking for that, and I came across these pigs, and I was really, really hungry. And there's these pigmen. I'm like, what the fuck is that? So I walked over to it, and I realized I could attack. Oh, look at Mojo. He's so cute.
The distraction of our mascot.
Yes.
He gets us every time.
And so it's happy sound asleep too. So I walk over to the pigman and I realize that I can attack him. So I attacked him, and that was a bad idea.
Very
so
bad.
he started beating me to death, and I ran away and I actually got away from him. He lost interest in me, but then I thought to myself, maybe I did enough damage to him that one more hit will kill him. Nope.
Big mistake.
And I promptly died. So in my morgue it says death by pigman. And I have a horrifying incident in my third life, which I'm still living.
Kind of.
No, I'm still alive in it.
Oh, you're not talking about the one you played
Not
here.
this one. That's the
Okay.
fourth life.
Okay.
That's technically my fourth. But yeah, in my third life, which I'm currently playing at home, I've got a really decent base setup. I don't have walls yet, but I've got a decent setup going, and I've unlocked a decent amount of sciencey stuff. Although I am starting to go insane.
What's the best way to do science?
I shit you not, things are starting to
Oh yeah.
waz out in the world.
Trust me, it gets far worse.
Great. So anyway, it was getting close to nighttime. It was dusk, and I thought, well, I have a little time to kill, and excuse me, I have a little time to kill, and I need some wood. So I decided to start chopping down some trees in a tree farm that I built close to my house. So I chop down an evergreen, and I gather a couple of logs, and then all of a sudden, I notice the tree next to me starts to move. And I'm like, what is going on? And it stands up, and has a face on it. And I went, oh my god, what the fuck is that? And I I literally chase this thing all the way. Basically, it's a really, really slow int that wants to kill you.
Yeah, that's good.
I was like, but I planted you. You shouldn't want to kill me. So I couldn't run away because nighttime had fallen by the time he got up. So I just very slowly walked him around my campfire until nighttime went away, and then I booked it across the map. And I ran into him one more time. I was just kind of scavenging once again for poop.
Always with the poop.
And I hear this thunk, 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 and I went,
It shakes the screen too, doesn't it?
I think it does. And I went, oh God, what is that? Oh my God, it's still alive!
It's back for my blood!
I tried to set it on fire and that didn't work.
No.
And I ran away from it, screaming. Screaming!
It's okay, Jack. It's okay. We'll get through this together. No.
So, let's see, am I playing anything else? I keep trying to play Assassin's Creed and keep not playing Assassin's Creed. Which I hear is a terrible mistake because it's supposed to be really, really good. It's just there's so many things going on right now, I just can't. So what are you playing, Tyler?
Me? I have been playing the occasional Battlefield 4, but not for as long as I usually do. Because, I don't know. Been there, done that kind of stuff. Yeah. Kind of waiting for the new expansion to come out, whenever that is.
When is the new? What is the new expansion? I should say.
I don't know. I haven't been as interested in the expansions as I was with Battlefield 3, which I didn't even play many of those expansions. But I've been playing a lot of Anno 2070. I got that in the Steam Holiday Sale. That is a very pretty game. It's very relaxed. For those
that can actually run it, it runs like sludge on my computer.
It's a very high-end strategy game, and it's kind of a civilization building thing. It's less focused on combat.
What do you think of the gameplay? Because it didn't grab me immediately.
I kind of like the organization of it. I'm a very particular person with organizing. I like completing these little tasks you need to do to unlock the next thing you can do, to do the next thing you can do, to do the next thing you can do. And I think the worst part for me is there's basically three branches of civilians. That's the eco, the corporate, and the
science.
And the science. And I'm only playing the campaign because I'm still trying to learn all the little tidbits that you need to learn. And I don't think it's actually helping me for when I play an actual multiplayer game or just a game by myself that's on like Forever Play or whatever. And that does kind of terrify me because there's some things it tells me to do that I can only see being an instance for that story. And they're also how I progress through playing anyways. And so I'm hoping if I do play a game that's just by itself that's not the campaign, that I don't not know what I'm doing, if that makes any sense. Because these three branches, they're each specialized to themselves and don't really help each other. But
no, they hate each other, in fact.
Well, no, that's the weird thing. They don't exactly hate each other in their own system, it's just they are not conductive to each other. Because...
Well, yeah, there's the environmentalists and the corporate. Those two are very, very opposite of each other.
That is true. That the eco people will be unhappy on an island you settle them on if you use coal power or something like that reduces the eco balance.
Goddamn hippies.
There's so much complexity to this game, and I'm not sure how well that plays into each other because in the campaign, you don't really have to mix these people up. It's usually each part is build up so and so many eco workers, and then by the time you're done with that, you're done with that mission, and then it moves you to a new area. Or you have to settle on a new island with these new people, and you don't need to mix them together. So it is a very interesting game. I like how pretty and relaxing it is, and it's fun because I don't normally care for real-time strategy. I don't really think fast enough. I think slowly, but I think ahead, and I can't think in the moment to react to things that are happening. Like
the funny
being attacked by 5,000 Zerglings.
Well, the funny thing is, you're actually pretty good at RTS games.
Only when I figure out, like, the ultimate strategy, basically, that can be spammed against bots. Because I don't like playing real-time strategy against players unless it's my friends, because...
And even then, it's not pleasant, because...
Yeah, I remember playing Company of Heroes 2 with you, against you and Brian with Michael, and that was a fun experience.
That was not a fun experience at all. But what stands out in my mind, playing Battle for Middle Earth with...
Well, we played that against bots.
Yeah, but we had one round where I think... Was it all three of us going against each other? And it was just this ridiculous stalemate.
Oh, yeah.
You remember that match?
Yeah. And I also remember the one time we played on that one map where there was just one bridge,
Mm-hmm.
and one person was against the other two.
Mm-hmm.
And that one was fun because it was you two versus me, and I set up like these trolls at the bridge and these ballistas and whatnot. And
That was fun. We need to get back into Battle for Middle Earth, although you have to...
I don't want to play Battle for Middle Earth anymore. I'm kind of tired of that game. But that's the other problem. When I play too many real-time strategy games, they just become
all the
repetitive
same.
because each game you're doing the same thing, even if it is against your friends or whatever, unless you really just want to dork around. But then again, if you dork around, you're going to lose, and that's... Why would you want to lose? I'm not saying I'm competitive or anything, but I'm going to fucking kick your ass.
That's one reason I don't like to play against friends, is because I am hyper-competitive. And
He says that, but he never shows it because he never plays against
yeah,
us, really.
well, if you see me in hyper-competitive mode, you will think I'm the biggest asshole in existence. That's why I always don't play to win whenever I play against you guys. Because believe me, I know myself when I'm in hyper-competitive mode. I don't like losing.
Yeah. It happens.
And I would rather not end a match and shout obscenities at you. You know, and lose a friend over that. But,
what else have I been playing? I don't want to go over my computer to look what I've been playing recently.
That didn't work so well, did it?
I want to say I've been playing Warframe, but I haven't. I love the game, but I just keep logging in for the win of the day bonus.
Well, you're waiting. Aren't you waiting for it to kind of do something on PS4?
Yeah, I would play it more on PS4, but I'm waiting for the PS4 version to catch up.
Yeah,
then I can
that's
merge
what
my
you were saying.
accounts together. Because I don't really want to start all over again. It's more the kind of game where you want to keep the investment you've put into it. Here's something I've been doing. I'm playing a lot of Cards Against Humanity online.
Wait, there's an online component?
They're not exactly a component. It's called Pretend You're XYZZY or something like that. It's basically a kind of a flash version that you play with your friends.
That's what Brian was telling me about.
Yes, I've been trying to get you to get on to play with us, but you've been at Disneyland.
I've been at Disneyland and then I've been at Sleeping Land.
Yes. But Cards Against Humanity is this awesome party game where you draw a black card and everyone has a hand of 10 white cards. And the black card could be something like... I'm trying to think of a good... I have the actual card game set right here.
And so he's grabbing it.
So I'm grabbing the box. Because it's a dick in a box.
Like I said, he's grabbing it. We're actually going to have a short show this week.
Yeah, this is going to
Although
be
the main topic may take a while.
Alright, so this black card I just drew says, TSA guidelines now prohibit blank on airplanes. Seems harmless.
Living?
Seems harmless until you get a white card that says flightless birds. Or riding off into the sunset. Why you would want to do that on a flight, I don't... Well, actually that'd be kind of cool. Throwing a virgin into a volcano. You don't want to do that on a TSA-rated flight.
I don't know. That sounds kind of amusing.
Well, if you're
Wait,
flying
I'm a
over.
virgin. Shit.
No! Off you go. But yeah, that's Cards Against Humanity. It's basically as awful as you and your friends. I'm not sponsored. I swear, I just really love the game. It's fun.
We wish we were sponsored.
We wish we were sponsored. Cards Against Humanity. Get on that. But yeah, it's fun. I finally ordered my copy. It's been out of stock because of the holidays, and I finally got it. It's here. I haven't played the actual card game yet, but playing it online is fun. You go to the Cards Against Humanity website. They have a link to go to the online component. Sometimes the servers are full and you can't create a game. Just join someone else's if you want. I haven't tried playing with random people. But it's probably just as fun as playing with your friends.
One would think.
One would think, but probably not. Because knowing how horrible your friends think is hilarious. That's been almost a nightly thing with me and my friends, except for Jackson, because
I've been at Disneyland.
Yeah, he's been at Disneyland, but
I'm going to Disneyland.
We just sit around thinking like, what do we want to do? And I'm like, how about this thing I found? And then every night since, it's been like as soon as a third person gets on to do something, it's like, let's all play Cards Against Humanity. Yeah.
It's kind of like when we were addicted to Gunbound.
Oh God, Gunbound. Oh, Gunbound was this amazing kind of Worms-esque artillery game thing.
It was basically based off Worms.
Yeah, but anyways, moving on.
That was a great... I miss those days. That was such a great time.
Yeah. I've also... Oh, I know what I've been playing recently. I just thought of the rest of them. I've been playing... I finally decided to get into the Mighty Quest for Epic Loot.
Oh, I want to try that game. How is it?
I thought you have tried it. I thought you started
I was in the beta. I just have not actually played it.
Okay, well, Michael and I have been playing it. And Cruciff was supposed to play it, but he still hasn't yet.
Cruciff.
You bastard.
You British bastard. British, right?
Yeah, I guess you can call him British. But you can
Pip.
you basically create this dungeon that other players have to run through in order to try to get your gold or your life force, and you spawn in creatures and all this other stuff, and it's very organizational. It's very intricate. It's very interesting. It's very complex, and every time you run someone's castle, it's either super easy or super hard, and you always learn something because you're like, this is what I shouldn't do. This is what I should do. If I can't beat this, odds are other people can't beat this, so maybe I should replicate this in my own castle. And it's very interesting. It's free to play, so you can get it now.
Is it out of... I guess it's out of closed beta if you're playing it. Cause...
It said closed beta at... Okay, stupid story. Well...
Because
you didn't
sign up for the closed beta, I didn't think.
Well, about that. So, stupid story short. Cruciff and I were trying to think of something to do, so we were looking through the Steam store to see if there's anything we wanted to do. We saw the Mighty Quest for Epic Loot. Well, he mentioned the game, but didn't know what it was called. And I reminded him what it was called. We looked at it, and we didn't exactly notice the Play Now button. So I was looking at the packs to buy, and one of them was $20. And you get the skin, the in-game currency, and so Cruciff so kindly says to me, "What do you think? You want to buy it?" So I said, yeah, why not? Sure.
Oh, Tyler.
On the plus side, you get like $25 worth of in-game currency.
Oh,
Who's
Tyler.
the smart person now? I'm supporting development of a good game. Okay, I didn't mean to spend that. It was only $20.
But to clarify, it is a good game.
It is a good game. I don't regret the purchase. I haven't actually used anything I've gotten yet because it's in-game currency. I'm always scared to use it because I'm like, what if I need it for something better?
Yeah, it's the old gamer's adage of, but I might need it later.
Yes. Never give free in-game currency to someone who doesn't know what to do with it. That's always why you buy it when you need it.
I'll have to try it, because when that game was revealed at E3, it really, really intrigued me, and the commercial was just hilarious.
Oh, yeah, the intro is hilarious, too, by the way.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Is it the soldier talking and getting smacked around?
No, it's
Okay.
something different. It's very interesting. I don't like the tutorial. The guy who runs the tutorial annoys me, and I wish I could stab him in the face.
I'm gonna have to try it, because that is a game that's been on my radar. It's just I've had so much going on, I haven't had a chance to play it.
Yeah, Michael and I are playing it, so having another person to join us and rampaging each other's my castle is good. Well, now I'll be raiding your castle because you'll be the noob.
Great.
Yeah, let's see. I've also splurged on some survival games recently. I've gotten Rust, DayZ, Standalone, and 7 Days to Die.
So tell me about we kind of went over DayZ last week. Tell me about Rust. What do you think of it so far? You've only played a little bit of it though, right?
I've played more than I did when I first talked about it. It's not as naked as people think. It's a setting you have to turn off. It's by default everyone wears pants, so there's no dicks flopping around everywhere.
Oh.
Which is you can turn it on.
Okay.
I think you go into the console and type pants.on or off. I don't even know.
Yeah, I still need to buy that game.
It's I've been playing it with Cruciff, and Cruciff and I had the hardest time meeting up with each other. The first thing we did was we rallied this other bunch of noobs to become our slaves and do everything for us. It was very hysterical because Cruciff would just act like every single noob we came up to was part of our previous group. And they just came along with it because they're like, oh shit, I'm in the in crowd now. I got this giant group of people. We had 12 people at this one point, and we started setting the small base in this rock crevices near the coast, and then some random guy came in, and Cruciff just looks at him and shouts, what did he shout? He shouted...
He's probably saying it right now.
He's probably saying it because he's listening live. But he shouted something at this dude, like... The first guy that came, we said, kill the outsider. I think it was something like, kill the outsider! And every single person rushed after him. Everyone. It was just me and Crucif left at the base staring at each other and laughing hysterically. And it was amazing because they just went out and we were watching them go down the horizon, down the coast, just chasing after this one dude. And it wasn't until a few minutes later that people slowly trickled back in, and then we only had about 6 other people.
Yeah, the other ones probably got killed.
They got killed because one of the groups that came back said we got ambushed, and a lot of them died. But so we had 6 left. We lost like half of our giant group.
Well, the interesting thing about Rust is it is about teamwork.
It is, but it's not.
You can survive alone, but it's infinitely more difficult too.
I think the worst part is it's not easy to hide. Raiders will find you.
And it's not easy to trust people either. Mitch...
You don't trust people.
No, you don't. Mitch died...
Although...
Oh, no.
That's the next thing. We eventually found this nice valley where things were spawning nicely, like animals and stuff. We were all going to take over this base that was partially built, and then about 6 people came walking through the meadow with machine guns mowing us all down. So we had to find each other again. We tried to regroup with all the people, and when we regrouped with a couple of them, they tried to stage a coup. So we murdered them, and they murdered us, and we had to find each other again. And we found the same valley, and we started setting up our own house out of this shell of a place. It was just the support beams and the foundation and crafting table, the basic amenities that you need, except for walls and a door. So we put walls and doors on it, and the people that killed us before eventually came up to us. And they wanted to know our names so that they wouldn't kill us because we were cool guys. They said that we could have this place and make it our own, and we did. And they kind of became our protectors, except they kept killing us if we strayed too far from our house because they forgot and they couldn't tell us from anyone else. so they killed Crucif at one point. And he got infuriated because his respawn bed wasn't. We hadn't made them yet. And so he had to spend all the time trying to find it again. And since that moment, he went on this vendetta to kill the guy that killed him. Unfortunately, we never got a chance because a hacker beat us to it and murdered everyone in that valley repeatedly.
Unfortunately,
and he took everyone's guns off their corpses, took everyone's guns off their inventories, their hidden stashes, everything. So everyone in that valley was almost useless after that. So,
unfortunately, it is an early access game, therefore it means it is an alpha, and all of the security on their servers has not been implemented. They have not been able to use Valve anti-cheat, if I'm not mistaken, so that stuff's going to happen. But from all that I've heard about Rust, it just sounds like a blast.
It is very fun. The thing with the blueprint system is that at least if you die, but you've learned the blueprint, you keep it in your crafting recipes. So there's at least that when you die. But other than that, finding each other is a pain in the ass.
Yeah. Well, it's not surprising, and I imagine they'll implement something later down the lines. But
the island that the game takes place on is very large, but there's nothing really iconic about each area except for player-made buildings. Because the only way we knew if we were near our house is if it was in the shadows of Penis Tower. I'm sorry, but in this game, there's always a penis tower. It's people just building up this tower as tall as it can be and as thin as it can be to save on resources. And we call it penis tower because it had a testicle on the side, which is this just large, kind of roundish building on the side, so there's a testicle. And we were on testicle side of the mountain that penis tower was on. So whenever we respawn, we'd have to make sure we'd look around, spin a circle. There's penis tower, so we'd run to the testicle side of penis tower.
You need to stream that game.
I might at some point. I might have to. I actually haven't streamed on my PC in a while. I think Crucif streamed a little bit at some point, but I'm not sure.
Because Mitch Dyer of IGN, yes, I am going to continue to bring up IGN.
Fanboy.
Yes. I'll admit it, I am. Although, again, my news stories do come from multiple outlets, not just IGN. However, I use IGN to organize most of them, since a lot of the main outlets have the same stories. Anyway, Mitch Dyer of IGN has been doing a lot of streaming of Rust and with former IGN editor Anthony Gallegos. And I keep missing them, so I have to watch the archive version, but they're hilarious.
It's a very fun game. It's fun to mess with people in that kind of survival game where you can just be silly.
Yeah, and DayZ, you don't really have that opportunity because
you have that opportunity.
Well, I mean, you do have the opportunity, but it's more of a... If you're trying to go to a more serious tone, you kind of feel like you need to be serious.
Yeah, DayZ is a lot more serious. Rust isn't. But then again, the group of people that basically kind of took us under their wing and kept giving us blueprints and some interesting stuff, even though Crucif wanted to murder them all, they were very businesslike. They were very organized. They were protecting the area. They were literally protecting the area. Any fresh spawn was sure to get murdered. And the only way we finally were stopped getting murdered is because they gave us enough cloth for armor so that we could stand out.
Well, and forming a commune like that is
Yeah.
a big, big advantage in that game.
It is, until a hacker wipes everyone out.
Yeah. Well, again, alpha.
Alpha. Alpha is alpha.
Yep.
Let's see, I've also been playing some 7 Days to Die. That is
yeah, you were telling me about that.
It's a very Minecraft mixed with DayZ, mixed with Left 4 Dead, I'd say, because of how the zombies act. Because at nighttime they're very quick, they're very relentless, and they see you from anywhere. And it's a very terrifying game at night. But at the same time, there's a lot of exploits just to be completely safe. Like if you make a path where you have to jump to this like kind of treehouse type thing, or a house on stilts, basically, then you're basically safe because they can't jump the way you can jump, but they can climb in ways that you can't climb, so they can get into your house in unexpected ways. But at the same time, they can break open your floors and just ruin your day. And the crafting system is very interesting because it's like Minecraft, but it saves what you know. Once you craft or put in the pattern for a pickaxe, all you have to do is click pickaxe in the crafting list, and it puts all the stuff in there automatically, which is it's very nice.
Yeah.
It's very nice. It's also in a 5x5 crafting grid too, so it's very expansive. There's a lot of work that needs to be done on it. I can tell definitely. The servers are... I have had the most awful time setting up my own server. I've only been able to get it to work on LAN. They need to streamline it. They need to make it a lot easier. And there's not too much I can say about it. It is fun. I like the way the guns work in it. I like the way killing zombies works. I like looting things. It doesn't have what's the term? It doesn't have randomized worlds yet. It doesn't.
Oh, procedurally generated.
Yeah, it doesn't have procedural generation yet. But they do plan on expanding the one world that's there in the next update. Things like that. That's about all I can really say about 7 Days to Die. It's interesting, and I can't wait for it to get better.
Excuse me. Survival games seem to be the new zombie games.
They are, even though they include zombies usually.
Yeah.
But I can't get enough of survival games. I think they're
they're a blast. That's not a knock against the genre. They're really, really good games. It's just I hope that genre doesn't get oversaturated like they tend to do.
Yeah.
But anyway, hey, did you ever play oh god, what was the name of that game? Starlancer. It was originally was it on the Saturn? No, it was... I don't remember what the original console version of... Anyway, can't remember the original, but it's on PC. Basically, it's a space dogfighting game. It's an older game, but oh my gosh, I have so much fun with that game.
I wish I could say I have, but PC gaming was not really my strong suit back in the day, except for Sims.
I ought to...
That's right, Sims was basically one of the only PC games I played as a kid.
Anyway, I ought to loan you that game, because that game is a lot of fun, and it's a really good space dogfighting game. It's a solid experience, too, and the story's
just wait
decent.
until Star Citizen?
Okay, I'll give you that one.
That's what I thought, bitch. Ow, that fucking pen.
It's not as bad as your pen.
No, my pen actually hurts a lot more.
No.
Because my pen's bigger.
The other game that I was thinking about
Just gonna glaze right over that one?
Yeah.
Not even gonna give me the dignity?
Yes.
Ow. He's abusive, people.
The other game that I was thinking about was Star Trek Bridge Commander. Now, I'm pretty sure you didn't play that one.
No. I did hear about this indie game that came out. It was a college project that people did. It's not a very well-known game. But it basically pits you and your friends as different parts of the bridge command on a starship. I wish I knew what it was called.
I think I've heard of that game before, too. But, Anyway, for those who, not glazing over what Tyler said. For those who are not aware of what Star Trek Bridge Commander is, it was basically a bridge simulator for Star Trek with a story added onto it. Decent story, too. It was a really good game. I spent so much time with that game, but it didn't have a whole lot of replayability because there was a story mission and then there was like a skirmish mode that was kind of boring. I really want to see that game come back in a Kinect game because I think that would be the perfect platform.
That would be really cool.
Because that game actually did have voice commands for it. It was just a bitch to set them up. And I never got them to work right. So, main topic. Because we didn't get our main topic in last episode's episode, we're going to scrap that one.
Yay!
To be perfectly honest, it was one that I came up with just off the top of my head, and we can discuss it in a later date. It's not a super good topic, to be honest.
It's not. He's bad at this. Not the pen! Ow! Bitch.
So this week we're going to be discussing the gaming year in review, 2013, and what we look forward to in 2014. So, what were some of your highlights of 2013?
I wish I had a list of all the games that came out and that I played in 2013, because there was a lot.
There was a lot of games that came out in 2013. BioShock Infinite was not one of my favorites.
It was not one of my favorites, but it definitely wins the Brink Award. The game it could have been, basically.
Yeah, I'll give you that one. Hey, look, Mojo's actually using his bed.
Weirdo. I got Mojo this nice poofy bed and he doesn't use it. Except on rare occasions like now.
Forza 5 was awesome. Have you gotten that game in yet?
That's the new one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I played a little bit of it.
Yeah, has my avatar kicked your ass yet?
No. It's pissed me off occasionally, but I run him off the road. But I like the drive-atar system. I wish there was an easier way to tell what your own drive-atar was like.
Yeah, basically the only way to find out is to listen to other people yelling at you.
Yeah, I wish there was a way to race your own drive-atar. So that'd be pretty cool. But I did get frustrated when I actually got my own rented copy. Because when I played with yours, I didn't have too much of an issue with it. But then there was an update, apparently. And
yeah, because I haven't played it in a while.
Yeah, I got back on, and there was an update. And I played it, and every single race I had, there was always one person who was 5 seconds ahead in the lead. Just way ahead, and there was no rhyme or reason to it, except for he was already at the start when the race started, so he was never in the giant ramming spree of everyone that was in second and third place, just causing this massive pileup on the first turn. So, that was my Forza 5 experience. So we pulled up a list here of the games from this year, and we're going to talk about them.
Yay!
So let's see. Games that I have played on this list. I haven't
And you're just
seen
in January.
I'm only in January. I'm in February. Oh, Antichamber. Antichamber was this brilliant puzzle game, and I don't think it got enough respect or as much knowledge and tossed around from the press as it should have. It was probably one of the most unique gaming experiences of my life. Just because of how
that's
well
high praise.
It is very high praise. And I'm going to give it my best puzzle game of the year award.
Awesome. So there we go. Antichamber, you have a puzzle game of the year award from
Fawkestrot.
From two guys in a living room.
I will make you a sticker if you want it, and you can put it on your wall.
I'm sure they'd appreciate it.
I don't really know too much about the development process or who made it, but I just love the game.
It might say there in the list somewhere.
I think I have to click it, but I don't want to click it
Oh,
because
yeah,
I'll lose it. Let's see. Dead Space 3.
Oh, God.
We had fun making fun of Dead Space
Yeah,
3.
we had a lot of fun making fun of that game. But, it was fun to play through together.
It was.
It was a lot of fun to play through, but at the end, it was just like, okay, I'm really ready for this to be over now.
We couldn't take it seriously.
No, and it was hard to. It's just... The hilarious thing is the most interesting thing in that game was when you were going insane.
Yeah, it was the co-op story. It was literally the co-op story, and the second player would sometimes have these little freakouts in these side quests where he would see things completely differently.
And I was just seeing him standing there dancing around like an idiot.
Yeah, and it would actually be a detriment because sometimes I would be being attacked and I don't even know it because I'm in the middle of this cutscene where I'm having this freakout and Jack is having to fight these things off by himself.
That was the best developed co-op experience I've had in a very, very long time.
Oh, yes, without a doubt.
But the game itself was trash.
Yes. The story could have been so much better. If they made the whole story what the co-op story was, it would have been brilliant. But they tried to stick too close to their own roots. And that stupid final boss.
It was so bad I don't even remember it.
I'm sorry, but I'm going to spoil this here. Giant floatiness. The moon.
Right, the moon.
That was so silly.
The
and
entire
weird.
thing was just...
It wasn't the horror game that Dead Space 1 was. And I played Dead Space 1. I'm not a horror game fan.
Neither am I.
Which is what allowed me to play Dead Space 1 and laugh at every little thing that happened. I played it with my roommate at the time, not Brian, but
different roommate.
Yeah, different roommate. This was when I lived up in New York, and we just played through it, and we couldn't stop laughing at some of the stupid things that would happen. And it wasn't the game designer's fault or anything. It was a very good game, but we were just making fun of so many things, just like the way the bodies work, where you kick them, they'd get stuck between your legs, and that still happens in Dead Space 3.
I can't.
And just the way you could freeze things and stuff, and it was funny. We made fun of each other when the jump scares were jump scares, because they're simple scares. They're not terrifying like a lot of good games do.
I could not get through that game.
No.
I was just, but it's because I'm a wimp. But you made a really good point about Dead Space 3. All of the supposed jump scares or really shocking, surprising
we saw them coming miles away.
Yeah, exactly. Entries by the enemies were not scary because you could see where they were going to come in.
Yeah,
it was obvious. You walk into an elevator and there'd be a vent in there, and you're like, "Oh, we're going to get attacked."
Yeah, in Dead Space 1, I could see the terrifying nature of, okay, that vent is open and there's blood and guts hanging all inside of it and things, and then you see a shadow move inside of it, and you don't have enough. Your light's not on it, so you don't see it, and you're like, something's in the vents around me. So now you're watching all of the vents. But in Dead Space 3, there's like two vents that are directly in front of you, or directly to your left, and once you pass by them, something pops out behind you. Oh no!
You know, the depressing thing about Dead Space 3 is the things that surprised me were when the enemies didn't attack from where we expected them to.
That's true, that is true.
They attacked from a different place that we expected them to, but not from, like, there were times when we get into an elevator and there was a vent in there, but we didn't get attacked, and I was like, oh, well... That's surprising. I guess we're not getting attacked.
But then it eventually did happen.
Yeah, it did. Yeah.
They didn't decide to overplay the vent in the elevator thing.
Yeah.
Because they only did it once. But I will give I think every single game we're talking about here, we're going to give it some kind of award. Just for the lulz. And I'm going to give Dead Space 3 the best side quest of the year award.
Yes. I like that.
The co-op side story.
I like that. You know, and the thing is that co-op side story was so cerebral. It was. So well done.
And it was very emotional, too.
It was.
It was all about the co-op character's family and what he had done to them, because there's always a mystery. And I can guarantee you, if you play the single player, you won't know a damn thing.
No. I mean, literally, this is what made the second player matter. There were times in the cutscenes that Tyler pointed out where the co-op character just completely disappeared and then randomly reappeared.
Yeah.
Like, I remember one is your character, you were playing the co-op character, fell off a cliff to his death and then reappeared in the next scene.
Yes. And
you're like, what just happened?
The way the co-op character exists, and because you're basically this person following around John Carver, right? Or whatever his name is.
Whatever the fuck his name is.
And whatever happens to him happens to you, but in some of the cutscenes, it doesn't work like that. And I remember in the demo, if you played it single player, that character appeared in different places. But in some of the cutscenes, it doesn't matter. Because you clearly die in one point as the co-op character in a cutscene. And then you're just back, and it's like...
And they don't explain it at all.
Yeah. It's so weird. But congratulations, Dead Space 3. Best side quest.
Best side quest.
I would like to talk more about it. I want to say... The way it introduced the side quest was the most amazing thing ever. Mm-hmm. The second player hears this woman in distress. The first player doesn't. And so I, like the sensible person, run off towards the distress. And Jack's like, "What are you doing? There was nothing." And I'm like, "Yes, there was."
And you kept saying, "Wait, did you hear that?" I'm like,
"Yeah, did you hear that?
I'm like,
hear that?"
And then I see this woman. Am I like hallucinating and not hearing something?
Yeah. And then there's this woman walking through the snow and goes inside this door. I'm like, "You saw that, right?" And he's like, "No." And so I go through the door, and Jack's like, we've already been there. And I'm like, but
There was a woman.
There's a woman here. I need to find out what's going on.
It was just so well done in a game that was so not well done.
Yeah. So, kudos.
Yeah.
And let's see. I did not play this game, but we're going to talk about it anyway. Aliens, Colonial Marines.
Oh my god, that wins worst game of the year. Well,
Let's not say that just yet.
Yeah, because Fighter Within. So what are we saying about Colonial Marines?
We're going to say this and this only. If you don't know what that means, look it up.
We'll give that game... Would you say biggest disappointment of the year?
I'd say most lied to trailers of the year.
Yeah.
Because the trailers were just full of bullshit.
Yeah.
Because some of the things that happen in the trailers don't even happen in the game.
Yeah.
And like they even all these demos that they showed people look nothing like the game itself, because they would show these things in like at like conventions and things like that, and people were like, "Oh, this game looks pretty cool" and stuff. And we played it; it was fun. And then when people actually got the game, the first alien glitches out and just like what was it? Spins in a circle or something.
Yeah,
It gets stuck in an animation where it turns.
Sad.
I mean, how?
And that was Gearbox. What the fuck,
How can
Gearbox?
you- how
Clearly,
can
you
you
took
lie
all
about
of that
that?
money and
Was it really
funneled it in.
Gearbox?
Yeah, it was Gearbox.
Are you sure they just didn't like co-create?
No, this was Gearbox.
No, wait, they picked it up from someone.
Did they?
Yeah, that's Gearbox's thing too. They picked it up from someone. It was a huge
atrocious.
disappointment, and it was
It was.
hugest line advertising award of the year.
Yeah, I mean, I think didn't they get sued for that?
I
I'm
think,
sure
I
someone
think there were a
sued
few
them for
lawsuits
it.
about
Yeah.
it for false advertising. Crisis 3, gonna kind of glaze over
I
that.
forgot the Crisis 3 came out this year.
Yeah, that was very early. It was mid-February.
I would give that one the most solid game that nobody knows about.
It was very fun when we played the what little we
beta.
played.
Yeah, the multiplayer was a lot of fun.
Oh yeah. Excuse me. Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance got stellar critic reviews.
I didn't care for it that much, but I'm not a big hack and slash person.
I tried the demo of it. I didn't see the mass appeal. I kind of want to go back to it, and I probably will at some point, because people are just raving about it now.
I think some people... I think some of it also relies on knowing Metal Gear lore, which I don't.
I know some of it. I don't know a lot of it, but it still didn't even seem to matter.
Because, yeah, I've heard people rave about that game. I'm like, this is a pretty bland hack and slash game. So I'm kind of curious to pick it up and see, whether it was halfway decent or not in my eyes. Because, again, I'm not a big hack and slash person, so...
Yeah,
SimCity. SimCity came out this year?
Oh yeah, that was SimCity.
Oh my god.
Yeah, SimCity.
Most disastrous launch of the year.
Ooh, you sure you want to say that?
What would top SimCity?
What was the other thing? It was like a couple months ago.
Oh, GTA Online?
GTA Online.
Oh. Ooh, tough competition. I would say most disappointing reboot of the year.
Yeah, that's I'd go for that too.
I mean, it was a solid game, but it did not do the original SimCity's justice. It was a fun game, don't get me wrong. I love SimCity.
It doesn't seem as intricate as the old game.
No, it's not as intricate, and it just is not... It's been dumbed down too much.
It's very
But that's kind of what Maxis has been doing, is dumbing down their awesome games.
Yeah. Let's see here. The new Tomb Raider came out. You loved it.
Oh my god, that game is good!
Still haven't played it.
You need to play that game. The story is kind of a throwaway garbage. The most interesting thing about that story was just seeing how Lara starts off. And
how the character transforms?
Yeah, the gameplay is what sold it for me. I mean, it's kind of like I had Uncharted syndrome, where I started playing it and I could not stop. Because the graphics are gorgeous, it has the most realistic fire physics I've ever seen in a video game. And that includes Heavy Rain, by the way. And I don't know, it was just a fun game. Multiplayer, unfortunately, was completely tacked on. You should completely ignore it.
I do want to remind people that I'm going through this list, and I'm only picking out games that we played or had interest in any sort of way.
And I'm kind of viewing off the sideline, so I may go through really quickly after he's done and pick some that he didn't point out. I would give Tomb Raider what award would I give that?
Best Hair Physics of the Year award?
No.
No.
Best Fire Physics of the Year.
Best Fire Physics of the Year. Okay. Let me see.
Wasn't there the Walking Dead game? The
Survival Instincts.
God awful.
I didn't
shooter.
play it though. I've heard.
You
awful
played the
things.
shooter.
The Walking Dead shooter? No, I haven't.
Oh, no. I'm thinking of XCOM.
Yeah, you're thinking of XCOM. BioShock Infinite.
We've been over BioShock Infinite. I would give that one most overrated game of the year.
Probably. It wasn't a bad game by any means, but it does not deserve...
It doesn't deserve the rave.
We don't think it deserves the praise it's gotten so far. There's a lot wrong with it.
You know, and it's just... You look back at the original BioShock and half the things that made that game interesting other than the story aren't in there.
Yeah. Now we're in April. What came out in April?
Injustice Gods Among Us, although neither of us have any experience, but that game's supposed to be really good. I've heard such great things. Guacamelee is supposed to be really good. I forgot that came out this year. Sorry for the silence,
Age
folks.
Of Wushu. SWOTOR expansion or something.
Oh yeah, some
really
stupid
care.
Old Republic thing that MMO people like.
Lego City Undercover.
That game was supposed to be really good.
Oh no, that was just on 3DS. Dead Island Riptide came out. We tried that. We did a little video of it. It was very interesting. The story was a bit silly.
Yeah, well,
it was like
I'm not big
on continuation.
Yeah, I'm not big into the Dead Island series. I never could get into it, to be perfectly honest. And I don't know. The video was fun to do, though.
Yeah. Apparently, Don't Starve was officially released in April. Or, is this April still? I don't know.
That's weird.
Yeah, apparently it was officially released because it was one of those early access games.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize it was early access.
Yeah. And...
that god-awful Star Trek game.
Which one?
Remember the Star Trek game?
Oh, yeah, the one off the movie.
Yeah. Oh, my
Ooh.
God. Okay, the Star Trek game wins my worst representation of a beloved franchise award.
Okay, Thomas Was Alone.
That one's for you.
Actually, this says PS3 and PS Vita. So I'm not...
Go ahead and talk about it anyway.
Yeah, I'll talk about it as if it was released this year. I'm not sure if it was released in December of the year before or not. But Thomas Was Alone, I got it around the same time as Anti-Chamber because I went on a huge puzzle gaming binge when these games came out. And it was probably the best storytelling in a puzzle game. It's just moving blocks around to solve this puzzle, and they're all different shapes and they all have their different attributes. Like there's one that can float, there's one that's tall and can jump, and there's these personalities written onto these blocks just by the narrator. And it's such a good story. It's so simple and beautiful, and it just goes together so well, and it ends perfectly. And that's not an easy thing to say. It just ends so amazingly. Just ties everything up together, and I didn't want to play more because I knew if they tried to make more or something, it wouldn't be. It would do this. It wouldn't do justice to the story.
You wanted that experience to be your experience.
That was the experience that they wanted people to have, and I had it, and I didn't want it any other way. So that was probably one of the best storytelling experiences of the year.
Ooh, that's a tough one because that goes up against The Last of Us.
I haven't played The Last of Us, so that'll be yours then.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not sure if I want to give it that award. I think I'm going to give it... Let's see, what kind of award can I give it? Probably Best Simplicity in Storytelling of the year.
Okay.
Because it is actually a fairly simple story. It has a very simple premise. It has a very simple purpose, and it has a very simple presentation. And it all comes together beautifully, and that's all it took. It just took simplicity.
What's your phone charge at? Because mine's getting close to dying.
It'll survive.
Okay.
You can go ahead and try to pull it up on my phone.
I will.
You can go through yours, too. Let's see. No, that's on Mac. What? Oh. No, not a 5.
Fascinating radio, I know, folks.
I know! This podcast is amazing! I heard a great many things about Stealth Bastard. I wanted to play it. Far Cry 3, Blood Dragon. I never got a chance to play that.
You know what? That game has gotten really, really good reviews. People seem to really love that game, but the general consensus seems to be that it should not have been called Far Cry 3.
Yeah, it should have really been its own thing.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, that's how a lot of Far Cry... That's what Far Cry 2 was like. It shouldn't have been called Far Cry 2.
Yeah.
Ubisoft does this weird thing where they just want to keep tacking on the good titles on the games that don't really need to be them.
Yeah.
like Assassin's Creed 4.
Meh. Yeah, that
Just
really
make it a pirate
Yeah,
game.
make it a pirate game. That did not need to have Assassin's Creed in it. But can I interrupt you and inform our listeners how to properly pronounce Ubisoft?
Oh yeah, go for it.
Because
I think we went over this last time too.
yes, I think so too. But I have to point it out again. It is pronounced Ubisoft because Ubisoft is short for ubiquitous software. So just letting you guys know.
Moving on. Metro Last Light. I got it.
That one's
I
gonna
haven't
be
played it
yours.
yet, but from what I've seen of it, it is. I want to say it has some of the best lighting in a game that I've seen this year.
So that's the award it gets.
Yes, I think it has the best lighting I've seen in a game this year award. Until I go down this list and find something better, it keeps that award. Bunch of crappy games in a row right here. Oh man, they just keep coming. Oh no, that was on the Wii U. It was out before.
Well, that automatically makes it crappy. It was on the Wii U. No!
Elder Scrolls Skyrim Legendary Edition doesn't really count. Animal Crossing New Leaf.
Here we go. Go ahead and scroll down to where you
Oh,
are.
motherfucker.
Oh my god, Animal Crossing New Leaf. Don't get me started on that fucking crack.
That shit is addicting.
Yes, it is.
I finally kicked the habit. I finally kicked it. I haven't touched it in a while. My town is going to look like it's covered in weeds, because it probably is. I'm not going back, man. I'm just not going back. I can't handle it anymore.
Hey, if you don't want it, I'll take it.
Oh, and right after that is The Last of Us. Go for it.
Oh, Last of Us. So, The Last of Us has been a really, really critically acclaimed...
Critically a cane, huh?
Take two. The Last of Us has been a really critically acclaimed game. I have not played enough of it. It's one of those games that I was like, I've been avoiding spoilers like the plague, but I just have not had time to play it. And I really... It's such a special game that I want to sit down in a dark room, maybe with headphones on, which has been recommended to me, and just experience this game, because I feel that experiencing it any other way is not going to do it justice. And I have been kind of playing it sporadically, and it is not doing it justice. So I really wanted to sit down and have some quality time with that game. I would give that the most gorgeous game of the year. The most gorgeous PlayStation 3 game of the year.
Cool. I still need to try it, but I don't have a PS3.
Yeah, we gotta fix that.
I did try the multiplayer with you. That was fun.
Yeah, the
very
multiplayer in that
surprisingly
game
good
was
multiplayer.
shockingly fun.
It's very scary, too. It's very intense. Is that it for you? Last
Yeah,
of Us?
that's it for Last of Us.
Okay. Rogue Legacy. Have you played it?
Rogue Legacy?
Legacy.
I know of it, sort of, kind of.
Randomized castle, randomized hero. Every time you die, you get a new one. The castle regenerates.
This sounds interesting. Why haven't I...
I don't know.
Heard more
Brian
of
and
it.
I both played it. What's wrong with you?
What is it? Is it PC only?
I think so. I think it might. I think it's PC only because it's an indie game. I think it'll be coming out on other platforms at some point. But it's I think it's a very fun game. I was very addicted to it when I first got it. It would be the thing I do when I had nothing else to do. I just pull up Rogue Legacy and run it, trying to get as much gold as I could in one run, so I had enough for my successor to buy some shit. It gets very hard. I mean, I can barely even beat one of the bosses. It's a very difficult game. And I'm going to have to say it's probably my... Ooh, I don't know if I want to give it this. I'm going to give it my most unforgiving Game of the Year award. Because while you can progress, if you die and you don't get enough...
More unforgiving than Don't Starve and Rust and...
Well, Don't Starve
DayZ.
is more forgiving, because Don't Starve, you have chances to respawn. You can even craft something to respawn. I don't really want to give that to DayZ and things like that either, because they're survival games.
And it's basically all about that.
Yeah, and they're kind of... That's part of the experience, and you can get over that real quickly. In this, every single time you run it, it's different, and every single time you run it, you need to get as much as you can, so there's no patterns to remember. So
Okay,
you
that's
have
fair.
to hunt for all the gold you can get, so that once you do lose, which you will, you can buy some upgrades for the next try. And your next try is randomized as well. You won't have the same perks you did, because you only have like three or four people to choose from that are your not your ancestors, but your like your sons and daughters and whatnot.
Yeah, okay.
And they basically carry on and try what you tried and stuff like that. And they'll be like a dwarf barbarian with Down syndrome who's gay or something. I don't know. You get these weird things, and like you can run around and you're farting all the time. You can get this thing where you're really small, so you can sneak into these crevices and get the loot that you can't get otherwise.
It sounds like an odd but fun game.
It is extremely odd. It's extremely hilarious, but it's extremely hard. That's why I'm giving it the most unforgiving, because while you can succeed, it doesn't want you to. And it does give you ways to bypass that. Like you can pay a bunch of the money to lock the castle, so that, like, say you know where the boss is and you're decked out to fight him, and you just need the right hero or something. So you go through it and you gather the gold, and you lock down the castle in your next life, so that each time you go through it, you can keep using that castle layout. So you know where everything is, and your map is the same. But you lose a lot of gold doing it, and that gold could be easily spent on upgrades and things like that. So it's best to do it when you need something from the castle.
What format is the game? Is it 2D? Is it 3D?
It's 2D. It's a 2D kind of platformer game. It throws everything at you. It does not want you to win. It does not like you. It is not the type of game
It's basically the castles in Mario, except much more vicious. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, kind of, yeah. It's actually a lot like that. Let's see, what else do we got? Monaco. I never got a chance to play that because no one would play it with me. Civ 5, Brave New World.
I don't have much hands-on time with that, so I won't comment on it.
I kind of want to give it my best expansion.
Really?
I do, because it does change up the game a lot. It adds the religion, it adds a bunch of new factions, it adds the culture things, it adds all this really interesting and cool things to change up the game, and it makes diplomacy much more important.
See, what irritates me about that, though, is it adds a lot of things that should not have been removed from the core game in the first place.
But that's also tied to development time. They had to prioritize these things. It's adding on systems that they couldn't fit in the first place, and that's what a lot of people have to do nowadays because they don't have the time to implement these things by their publisher's release date.
Yeah.
That's about all I can really say about that. Dota 2 release, still haven't touched it.
We need to try that game because apparently it also is like crack. However, it is also like learning a second language.
Yeah, I have a hard enough time still trying to play League of Legends.
Yeah, MOBAs are kind of well, I don't want to say they're dying. They're dying for us.
Yeah.
But I do still want to try Dota 2. I hope we can give it a try.
Let's see. Halo Spartan Assault. Have you tried it? I haven't.
No. Do we care? No.
Skipping. Love Halo, but I'm sorry. Top down. Fuck you. Shadowrun Returns. This is one of the games I wanted to mention last time.
Shadowrun. I thought you said Shadowrun.
We were talking about Wasteland 2, and I mentioned Shadowrun. That it was also one of the renewed kind of top-down RPG type games. Still haven't gotten my hands on it. It seems interesting. Let me see. I'm saying a lot of ums. Rise of the Triad. I never got a chance to play it. It was a... What was it? What do you call it? It's kind of like a Duke Nukem type game, like Doom and things like that. Huh. Very goofy, silly, and very, very unforgiving. At the same time, heavy on exploration. It doesn't hold your hand. Just the classic way of first-person shooters doing things. And it was very refreshing to see a game go back to that. Pikmin 3. I've heard a lot of good things about it.
I have not had a chance to play that game, but it is on my list. It's just the problem is my Wii U is actually in our media room, so my ability to play it is limited to when my mom's not home. And I don't own the game, so it's hard for me to dedicate any time to get it in from GameFly. It's definitely on my backlog list, unfortunately, which is all the Pikmin games. I still have not played a single Pikmin game.
Pikmin is probably one of my favorite Nintendo series.
Really? Over Mario and Star Fox and...
I've gotta say yes, simply because it always really appealed to me as a kid. Just this way of working with these little things to solve these puzzles and going through these things. And it was... I never had a chance to play Majora's Mask. It was one of my first experiences with this whole timed gaming experience. And I don't like that part of the game. I just liked how exploring and utilizing different abilities of these things worked.
And I think that they said that they removed... Didn't they remove the time
I don't think there's as much of a time on Pikmin 3, and there's also a bunch of challenges and things, and they're making DLC for
the
it.
challenges are supposed to be really off the wall and fun.
Let's see. Divinity Dragon Commander. That'll probably win something for Brian, but he's not here, so he doesn't get a vote.
Yep.
Brothers, A Tale of Two Sons. Have you played that yet?
I played the demo on Xbox Live Arcade, and the story is so charming, and the way that they tell it is so interesting because they're mute protagonists.
Yes.
All of the characters in that don't speak. They speak Simlish, basically. But they are so good at emoting and showing what's going on with their story. It's supposed to be just a phenomenal game, and plug, it's free for PlayStation Plus members
on PS3.
On PS3. I don't think it's free quite yet, but I'll have to double check that. So pick that up when you get the chance. It is a phenomenal game. I will warn you, though, the controls take a lot of getting used to.
It's basically you just use the sticks and one button each,
right. Left stick controls one of the brothers, and the right stick controls one of the other ones. And it is a hell to pay whenever you get them crossed up and your brain is trying to figure out what the fuck you're trying to do.
It's definitely a mindfuck of a control layout.
Mm-hmm.
It's very
but you know what? It's not, and that's not a detriment to the game.
No.
It's the most that wins the most unique controls of the year award.
Yes, I will definitely agree with that. I've been trying to think of a way to phrase that.
Mm-hmm.
Papers, Please.
That's all you.
That's technically all Brian. He's played it. I've watched him play it. It is very hysterical. It is very silly, and
I thought it had more of a serious tone. I didn't realize it was.
It is serious, but at the same time, it has its very silliness to it, and because of how serious it is, it kind of accentuates the silliness. And I'm just gonna make this one short. I'm gonna give this one my
Papers of the Year.
My Papers of the Year award. No. This is the most memorization needed in a game award of the year.
Well, you haven't gotten to Dota.
No,
you haven't tried Dota yet.
No, that's like muscle reflexes. It's a MOBA. It's not the same thing. This, each day, it puts new rules on you and constraints, and then maybe one day it just decides to take them away. So,
oh my God.
While you're trying to process these people, you have to remember all these rules that they've placed for you, and eventually you might fuck up. You have to remember all these symbols for other countries nearby, and the cities, and you have to make sure the passports are real and all these other things.
That would drive me nuts.
It is, and that's the point of it. It's supposed to kind of drive you insane to make you fuck up. But you need to not fuck up, otherwise your family will starve or be cold or be sick, and you can't have that.
I know that Greg Miller was big into that game when it came out.
It's a very interesting game because it's not about you. You're doing this job not because you need the money for yourself to buy, a better house and whatnot. You need it to just survive your family. Because you have like your uncle, your grandma, your wife, and your son. And each one of them can be sick and stuff. You have to pay your rent, your heating bill and stuff like that, and for medicine and food. And you have to choose which one of these to pay for if you can't pay for all of them.
Wow.
And you get paid you get paid for people you let in, and if you keep letting people in wrong, eventually you get deductions on your paycheck. So you have to be careful, but at the same time you have to be quick, because you only have a certain amount of time to let these people in during a day.
Wow.
So it's very interesting.
I really want to play that game. I just haven't had the chance to. Didn't Rising Storm come out this year?
Rising Storm. Was that this year?
Yeah, I think it was.
That was a very good game.
Red Orchestra.
Yeah.
I didn't pick it up during the Steam sale. I meant to.
Oh, was it on sale?
Yeah, it was on sale.
I forgot you still haven't gotten it.
I haven't gotten that. I haven't gotten Planetary Annihilation, although that's not surprising because it's expensive.
Very expensive.
It's gone down to $60. That's reasonable.
Yeah.
It's just still too expensive. I haven't gotten... what was the other one? Prison Architect. And that came out this year.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't call that the buggiest game of the year.
It's alpha. You can't really...
Yeah, that's true. We're not going to give that one any awards.
Yeah, all right now. Payday 2 came out this year.
Payday 2. The most exciting... That one gets my award for game that we were most excited for but haven't played worth shit.
I played a little bit with Michael here and there. We just don't play it enough. Because it really helps to have all the people that you need. Mm-hmm. And playing with randoms isn't as fun as playing with friends.
And I don't have the game, so...
Yeah. Let's see. Saints Row 4.
That one holds a special place in my heart because it is all Crackdown. It is so much Crackdown. And I don't know. I love the Saints series. It wasn't as good as Saints Row 3, don't get me wrong. But I love the Saints series. I love the goofiness of it. And, it was so cracked down. It just took me right back to that game. So, most unintentionally, well, probably intentional, Nostalgia of the Year award.
Alright. Let's see. The Bureau, XCOM Declassified.
Do we even want to talk about that game?
I want to give it something, because for what it was good.
Blandest shooter of the year.
It was bland. Most suddenly different game of the year, because it used to be something much different. And suddenly it was the Bureau, and it came out, and finally it was a third-person shooter of XCOM that no one asked for. And meh. That's the award it gets. The meh award.
The meh award?
Yeah, it gets the meh award. Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell Blacklist.
Oh my freaking god. I just got that game, actually.
Oh, you just finally bought it? Okay.
Yeah, it was $20 for Amazon for a sale.
Ah, damn, I should have gotten it.
Yeah, I know, I meant to tell you.
What would we give it? What would we give it? We gotta give it something right now. There's no sense in talking about it. This game is good.
The game is phenomenal. I would say... Oh, that's a tough one, man. Because it's not the best stealth game. I would give that to Last of Us. Well... Ooh, God, that's tough. No, I'm gonna give that one best stealth game. I'm gonna give Splinter Cell best stealth game of the year.
Same here. He-Man, the most powerful game? What?
There was a He-Man game?
That's
Does
on
anybody
Droid.
even know what the fuck He-Man is anymore?
Apparently. It's a droid game.
What the fuck?
Final Fantasy X-14, A Realm Reborn, the new Final Fantasy MMO.
MMO with the longest series of numbers award.
The most use of Roman numerals in general. No, actually, that goes to, what was it, XVV, or I don't remember what that game was. It was like all Roman numerals.
Was it this year?
It was like 13. I don't know. It was like last year.
Was it this? Oh.
Lost Planet 3.
Yeah. Most
Dead Spacey game of all.
Well, I wouldn't give it that. I would say that
Well, no. Dead Space 3 should have gotten the most Lost Planet game.
Yeah. I would say that Lost Planet 3 is...
I never even got a chance to play it.
The quietest release of the year. The quietest big-name release of the year.
I wouldn't say that, because it got a lot of hype beforehand. It
Yeah,
just
but
subtly slipped under the cracks afterwards.
Yeah.
They didn't keep the hype going.
No.
That's what kind of killed it.
The deadest game of the year.
Deadest game of the year. Let's keep going down this list. Diablo 3 on PS3 and Xbox 360.
I'm kind of glad to see that. It's still underwhelming. The nice thing about Diablo 3 on consoles is that it doesn't have the stupid online requirement. So you can play it single player without lag. Which kind of gives me incentive to go back and actually try it, because I do want to experience that story and see where it goes. I'm kind of curious for that.
Did you play Rayman Legends?
No. That's another one on my list of...
Outlast.
Outlast?
Outlast. Do you know anything about Outlast?
Is that the...
No. It's the horror game where all you have is a camera.
No,
and there's penises. Scary penises.
One would think I would know about this, but no, I don't.
I might have to give it my best horror game of the year.
Really?
I don't play horror games, but I watched someone play through it on YouTube. Because
over Slender and Amnesia?
Amnesia was Machine for Pigs, and that game sucked.
Ah.
And what was the other one you said?
Slender.
Slender? But there have been like 20 Slender games in the past 2 months. That thing's been kicked to death. But yeah, it's a truly terrifying experience. And that's just it. It's an experience. You don't fight back. You run and hide. That's the point of it. More stuff. Grand Theft Auto 5. There we go.
Grand Theft Auto 5. Best co-op game of the... Well, no, because it wasn't really co-op. It was just...
it's not technically co-op.
Right.
I don't want to give it best multiplayer.
No, because the online issues were trash.
Yeah. I want to give it... I kind of want to give it most hilarious characters. Or maybe most hilarious story?
I would say most hilarious character for Trevor.
Yeah. Most
Best
hilarious
character of the year.
Best character of the year?
Yeah.
Best character of the year, Trevor. Grand Theft Auto 5.
Worst online launch of the year.
Worst online launch of the year. This one's gotten 2 awards so far. It's going strong. Got any
And
more?
it's pretty strong for my goatee.
Goaty. Goaty. That's true. I think it's in my running for that. Mm-hmm. We'll see where that goes. Let's see. What else we got? MechWarrior Online. Nah.
I guess that did officially launch this year.
Running out of shit. We're in October through December.
Is it not on there?
Grand Theft Auto Online. It's listed as a whole different game.
Well, yeah, because it was launched as an entirely different game.
That's true. The Cave. Did you play The Cave?
Oh my god, I love The Cave. The Cave is, oh god, what did he make? It's escaping me.
You can do it. I believe in you.
I don't remember. Anyway, it was the guy that did Monkey Island.
Oh, really?
Yeah. If I'm remembering that correctly. And, oh my god, it's so much fun. You need to play that game, Tyler. It is a great game.
I'll have to.
It is just a hilarious. If it's ever on sale on Steam, I very highly recommend you pick it up. It's very fun, very hilarious.
Is it a point-and-click adventure?
No, it's like a 2D platforming game.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know what game that is then. Beyond Two Souls.
Didn't play it. Don't care about it.
I'm going to give it my... this is another game I just watched because I didn't feel like playing it and I didn't have a PS3. I'm going to give it my... What the fuck happened to your timeline award?
I'm going to give it my most divisive game of the year award.
What do you mean?
Because people either... there are games out there that people are split on, they kind of like it, they kind of... This one, people either really hated or really loved. And it's not surprising because Heavy Rain was the same exact way. People either really hated that game or really loved it. I really loved Heavy Rain.
The Wolf Among Us.
Didn't play it. I've heard it's really good.
I've heard it's really good. Can't really say much about it. Let's see.
The Wolf of Us.
The Wolf of Us.
Remember? My goof from the Podcast Unlock goof?
Oh, yeah. The Stanley Parable.
Mm.
This is a very high hitter for my game of the year. Very high hitter. This was a very story-driven exploration mindfuck of a game that just makes you want to keep going back for more until you've run out of things to do in it. And it forces you to keep replaying it because you want to do the other things that you passed over.
You sounded so depressed when you said that.
Because I want to keep playing it, but I've done everything. Make more.
So what award does that win?
I want to say
Most award. Most of the year.
Probably the Gimme More award of the year. Because I want more of it. There wasn't enough of it. Rocksmith 2014.
I haven't played the 2014 version, and I have not had too much hands-on with Rocksmith because I went on vacation. But I'm enjoying it. I don't want to give it I would say best music game of the year because it's the only music game of the year that anybody gave a damn about. So
pretty much. How to Survive. Never played it.
Oh, what about Sir? Didn't that come out this year? Sir, You're Being Hunted?
It hasn't actually come out.
Oh, okay, so that's right. It's early access. Never mind.
Nothing on that's early access is going to be on this list, and I don't think it's fair to call them games of the year because they're not technically released. We can, however, make a best early access game of the year. So, might be able to do that. Although there's been a lot of them, so I'm not sure.
Yeah. Well, there's been so many that we haven't experienced, like Planetary Annihilation.
Plants vs. Zombies 2. It's about time.
I care nothing about Plants vs. Zombie.
Batman Arkham Origins. Did you play that?
Nope.
FIFA Manager 14. Wii Party U. Angry Birds Star Wars.
I did play Angry Birds Star Wars. I don't care much for Angry Birds, though. Okay, so here's the thing. I played the game that Angry Birds was based off of, Crush the Castle, which is so much better.
Let's see. Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag.
Haven't played enough of it to say. What would you say?
I watched my girlfriend play it. I think Brian's played a tiny bit of it. I've heard nothing but good things, but I have not played it myself. But I am going to give it an award because this gets my worst name of the year award.
I would phrase that differently. I would say
most unnecessary name of the year.
Yeah.
Because
most
it did
unnecessary
not,
franchise tagging of the year.
It did not need to be an Assassin's Creed game. It did not need the future aspect.
Nope.
And from what I've seen of it, I don't know if there's like some big twist at the end or whatever. It doesn't even make sense to itself because the main character that you play through
is all of a sudden an assassin.
He's all of a sudden an assassin. He kills an assassin to get the clothes, and that's about it.
Yeah.
And that doesn't make sense because the whole animus thing, the whole going back in time thing through the mind of your ancestors or whatever, only makes sense if they're related to you. And this person's just literally, by being able to go to him, cuts the line off of your ancestors. I mean, how do you even?
About the only thing Assassin's Creed about it is that it's wearing the fucking cape and cowl.
Unless the mother was the assassin.
Don't look at me.
Speculation. Still, I don't care. It did not need to be an Assassin's Creed game.
It didn't need, no. And you know, the funny thing is, Ubisoft has actually come out and said that they may be spinning that off into its own pirate series.
That's a good idea. They should really do that. Battlefield 4.
Battlefield 4, prettiest game. Ooh.
We love Battlefield 4.
We do, but
we don't know what to give it.
What award to give it? I definitely would not give it Game of the Year. I wouldn't give it Prettiest Game of the Year, either.
Best first-person shooter of the year? Best first-person shooter of the year. Hands down.
Suck it, COD.
Speaking of which,
Call
of Duty Ghosts.
Most atrocious entry in a declining franchise award.
You think so?
Yes.
Pretty harsh.
Yep.
I'll go with that. State of Decay for Windows. I think I might have passed it somewhere on this list.
Yeah, State of Decay released. Remember, there was a big thing that it wasn't part of Summer of Arcade. So yeah, State of Decay. We'll give that one. Do you want to give that one Best Zombie Game?
No.
No.
Well,
because there's Walking Dead and there's DayZ.
Well, we haven't. Neither of us have played the new Walking Dead.
That's true.
And DayZ is early access. We could give it Best Zombie Game of the Year.
I'm going Best Zombie Game of the Year for me.
I think that might be a good idea, but it could also be Best Sleeper Hit.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't really a sleeper hit because it was played up a lot in the media.
That's true.
The media called attention to it because it was such a good game.
Okay. I think we can go with Best Zombie Game of the Year.
Okay.
XCOM, Enemy Within. Oh, I might have to take back my Civ 5 Brave New World. This really did change the game.
So we'll give Civ 5 Most Religious Game of the Year.
No, actually I'm going to keep that. XCOM Enemy Within. I do need to give it something, even though it's just an expansion. I'm going to have to say... Best use of mech suits in a game.
For this year.
For this year.
That does
Titanfall is right around the corner.
Yeah.
But yeah,
although,
XCOM Enemy Within.
Well, no. Didn't Hawken technically release this year?
It's still in beta, I think.
Oh, okay.
But I think this would win out anyway because you have to chop off all your arms and legs to use them. Takes some commitment, bro.
Mm-hmm.
And they're overpowered as fuck. Let's see what else we got here. All the main shooters and big stuff.
May I admit something?
Next gen, what?
I completely forgot what game we were talking about.
XCOM, Enemy Within.
Oh, okay, there we go. I was like, wait, you have to. I was thinking about Hawken, and then all of a sudden I went, chop off all your. What game are we talking about?
Mario and Sonic at Sochi 2014 Winter Olympics. NBA 2K14. Oh, Need for Speed Rivals.
Need for Speed Rivals. I'm going to give Best Arcade Racer of the Year.
Okay. Resogun. I want to say best
PlayStation 4 game. Yep.
But?
Yep.
That means it would be better than Battlefield 4.
Technically, Battlefield 4 is not a PlayStation.
You mean first
PlayStation exclusive.
Okay.
Exclusive PlayStation 4 game.
You really think so?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I want to give it the best reboot to a semi-dead genre award. Back to the whole high score matters kind of side-scrolling shooter game, and they put their own twist on it where it's all nice circle.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing that about Resogun is that I hate, loathe, and despise that style of game. The high score,
Yeah.
high intensity, and I fucking love Resogun. I am addicted to that game because it is so much fun.
Okay, Super Motherload. Best sequel to a Flash game.
Yeah.
Award of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Warframe on PS4.
We haven't played it on PS4, so...
I've played a little bit on PS4. I've seen a lot of it on PS4. And it's on this release list, and I love it so much. It's technically not released. It's still an open beta.
So we'll give it Best Space Ninja.
No, well, it gets the Best Space Ninja Game of the Year award. No, Best Space Ninja Award of the Year.
Best Ninja.
Shut up! I also want to give it the Best Free-to-Play Game of the Year.
Really?
Yes, Best Free-to-Play Game. It's addicting, it's intricate, it doesn't stop being fun.
Yeah, I can see that.
It's fun to play with friends, it's fun to play with random people.
Let's clarify. Best free-to-play game that was released this year.
But it's not technically released.
Oh, okay.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Okay,
we'll
best free-to-play game to go public this year. And I am choosing that over Dota 2 because MOBA.
Yeah. Well, and you haven't played Dota 2, so
That
it's
too.
kind of hard
These are all just things that we've played or have interest in. So we're on December. I've got like 8 days left to go through. Ashes Cricket 2013.
know nothing about it.
Crimson Dragon.
Didn't play it.
Uh-oh. We're going to have to take back our State of Decay.
Why?
Dead Rising 3.
I wouldn't give that best.
You wouldn't give it Best Zombie Game?
I wouldn't give it best zombie game.
Best Xbox One game.
Yeah. Yeah, which isn't saying much, but
Yeah.
yeah, I'd say best Xbox One game. Well,
Rise.
yeah, that's going up against Rise and Forza. Ooh.
I have more fun with Dead Rising 3 than I did with Rise.
I'm going to give Rise prettiest game of the year.
Yes, Rise will get prettiest game of the year, definitely.
Probably prettiest game of all time. I shit you not.
Rise isn't even... Oh, there it is. Never mind.
Did we already give Forza award?
Forza just now appeared.
Okay, so Forza's going to get best AI system and best sim racer of the year. And yes, that beats out Gran Turismo. I'm going to give Dead Rising best zany creations of the year. The Roller Hog.
The Roller Hog. How about we give it most over-the-top game of the year?
I like that.
Dead Rising 3, most over-the-top game of the year. Let's see, Power Star Golf.
It's
Mario
supposed to be
Party
good.
Island Tour.
Also,
Madden NFL 25.
Just
Quickie here. I want to give Loco Cycle best use of racism.
yes,
Best use of racism this year.
best or most racist game of the year.
Yeah.
As far as Madden 25 goes, that shows in December.
Which one?
Madden 25.
Yeah.
In December
For Xbox One.
it still should have been November.
Xbox One didn't...
Xbox One came out in November.
Oh, yeah. Why are all these lists... Oh, is this November? I think I'm in November, folks.
Okay. I was about to say, what is going on? Madden 25, it's a good entry into the series, but last year's iteration of Madden was better.
Okay. I was saying it as a joke because it's a sport game.
Hey, I'm into football.
Enough with the pen.
I was gentle that time.
Let's see. What else we got here? I saw something a second ago. What was it? What was it? I lost it. Where'd it go? The Legend of Zelda: Link Between Worlds.
That game is supposed to be phenomenal, and I would say best Zelda game. Period. Not of the
Period?
year.
Wow. We haven't even played it.
I haven't even played it, but, well, okay. I take that back because I haven't played it, so I can't say so. Not having hands-on experience with it. But from what I've heard, it's supposed to be phenomenal.
I'm going to say it's best iteration of a franchise because it goes back to one of the... I think what most people would agree is in the top 3.
That's a tough one, because you could say that for Dead Rising 3 as well.
Well, I mean, that's true. All right. best return to an old style in a game.
Okay.
It's not exactly best in going back to a genre, but it's going back to the old style of Zelda, and it goes back in the best way. Without, well, yeah, it is mobile, but with let's just keep it there. Let's keep it there.
Let's just keep it there. Keep it real.
Let's see. I've heard some good things about Tiny Brains, but I haven't played it.
I know nothing about that game.
It's on PS4. I don't know. Space Hulk is supposed to be a very intricate way of putting a board game onto the PC. Peggle 2 was finally released.
It's supposed to be a phenomenal game. Best Peggle game of the year.
If there was any kind of what are those games type called? Casual. Peggle would probably be casual. Peggle would probably be one of the casual games I would play because it's like pachinko.
I love Peggle. I recently tried the first Peggle, and got addicted to it, and I had to put it down because I knew I wouldn't stop. Peggle's one of those games that you start playing it, and then you fall off for a while, and then you pick it up again like months later, and you remember why you loved it so much, and you get addicted to it again.
The Walking Dead Season 2.
Haven't played it.
I haven't played it, but I'm going to give it an award. I'm going to give it the award for most spoilerific beginning to a game if you haven't played the first one.
Then I won't be playing it for a while.
Yes, you need to finish the first one. If you don't finish the first one, the second one will spoil the first one for you, and you won't ever want to go back and play it. Cut the Rope 2 for iOS. Yay!
Cut the Rope 1 was kind of fun, but it didn't hold my interest that much. Of course, I'm not a big casual gamer, so I had a hard time getting into Tiny Death Star.
Oh no. We've reached the bottom of the list.
Hey, it's about time. Let me skim through it real quick.
Go for it. I'll fill time.
No, be more interesting than that. Yes, I am calling you boring. Temple Run 2. That is one of, I would say, best iOS game of the year, because that game, I don't know, I just have a lot of fun picking that game up and dorking around with it. It's just a lot of fun. There's something just ridiculously fun about it. Sly Cooper Thieves in Time. That game
Did you play it?
I did. I played the demo of it,
Oh,
but it was enough to make me go, "This is on my buy list immediately." It is such a good entry into that franchise and into that
franchise
and into that genre of game. And it's great that you can play it on Vita and not lose anything from it, from the experience, you know.
This is why you should have used your own phone to do your own thing.
My phone is dying.
Should have looked over my shoulder. So you could read the list as I was going through. You have to fill the time.
Fortunately, I'm just going through them really, really quickly. Sorry, folks, for the slowness here.
Okay, some random ass awards. Cards Against Humanity wins Best Card Game of the Year award. It didn't come out this year, but I found it this year. It wins. PS4 gets most surprisingly Best Controller of the Year award.
Yeah, really surprising.
You don't get distracted. These are mine. Christmas gets the most Christmassy year of the award year.
Just in case, so you know, if you hear a squealing sound, that is my foot going to Tyler's balls. Beep. Dust 514, I would say that was the most... Ooh, how would I put that?
Most interesting implementation into an ongoing MMO?
There's that, but I would also say that it was... And PlanetSide. Didn't that come out this year?
I don't know when PlanetSide 2 came out.
I would say most disappointing...
It kind of just slowly transitioned from beta to release, so there's no kind of big...
Yeah, I would say most disappointing free-to-play shooter of the year.
Oh, that's devastating for
Well,
it.
the reason I say that is I tried it and it didn't grab me. And it may be because I was in beta and they hadn't gotten everything in position. I need to try it again. But If you heard that, that was my dog snoring.
It tends to happen.
I just want to go off on this one again. Animal Crossing New Leaf. Crackiest game ever. And
Okay.
also, someone has made Animal Crossing New Leaf pornography.
That doesn't surprise me. Rule 34.
True. Oh, I didn't realize Joe Danger just recently came out. Huh.
No, check what console it came out for. It might have just been a
Windows.
re-release. Oh. Taco Bell gets Best Dinner of the Day award.
Tropical 4 Gold Edition came out this year?
Yeah, that's like a compilation of everything.
No, I know. I know. DuckTales Remastered gets Game That Destroyed Childhood Memories of the Year. For a lot of people, I didn't play too much of that game when I was a child. You guys are probably getting... Oh, Castle of Illusion starring Mickey Mouse. Actually, that one gets, for my personal...
That was last year, though.
No, that was this year.
Was it?
This apparently released on the PSN this
I'm
year.
thinking of Epic Mickey.
Yeah, you're thinking of Epic Mickey. That one gets my Game That Destroyed Childhood Memories of the Year award because I loved that game as a kid. I mean, it was a really good game, and it just did not live up. It did not hold up at all. Killzone Mercenary, best PlayStation Vita game of the year. That game. Okay, so here's one reason that Killzone Mercenary is amazing. And I was explaining this the other... Huh?
It works?
Well, for one thing, it does work. It is constant reward, no matter what you're doing. Whenever you're in the campaign, if you kill somebody, you get money. If you pick up ammo, you get money.
Really?
If you reload your gun, you get money. Not really. If you pick up ammo, though, yes, you do get money.
That's weird.
If you pull off different kills, you get money. If
Bullets are made of money.
If you complete objectives, you get money. The cool thing about it is, all the money that you earn in the single-player campaign transfers over to the multiplayer. And the multiplayer is an extremely solid experience that I highly recommend. Vita Game of the Year.
Vita Game of the Year.
Mm-hmm.
This podcast gets most dead air of the year award. You're killing me here, Jack.
Hey, at least we're not like singing random songs. No, wait. I mean, at least we're not
Ow! My pride.
No, that's your penis.
You didn't kick me in the penis. You kicked me in the pride. That's even worse.
At least we're not Man, what the fuck was I gonna say?
What the fuck? Why are you asking me?
I blame you.
Jackson gets most forgettable person of the year. Not forgettable person, but person.
Gee, thanks!
No, not like that.
Even Happy is glaring at you.
He's staring at you.
He's glaring at you through me. And now he doesn't care anymore. Contrast.
I watched Amanda play through that.
It's a really interesting game. The story intrigues me more than the gameplay does.
Yeah, the gameplay is just kind of a gimmicky kind of puzzle element with shifting light, and it works really well. It has some, it utilizes its own engine very nicely to change platforms based on the shadows. And basically, how you go through puzzles is by manipulating light to change shadows which you can turn into.
And then boxes.
And boxes, there's
boxes that apparently break the experience, or so I've heard.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It is a bit annoying at points that I saw. It would glitch out a lot just to ruin the puzzles, and it would just reset unrealistically sometimes. But it had a very nice story to it. It was very run around and do this kind of thing to it, though.
Yeah, it was. The story intrigued me. Just the story of what's her name? What's the kid's name?
I think that's
the
how you
story.
spell it.
Huh?
I think that's how you spell it.
The story of the little girl. It intrigues me. I want to play more of that game. We forgot a big release, and that's Knack.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
That game gets my. I just had it phrased in my head, and it was gone. It gets my.
Best character made out of blocks award?
No, it's going to get my best
Best hard because it's easy game of the year award?
Mm-mm. Most disappointing because it has so much potential award. Because they could have done... I played through that game, and I'm still playing through it, and there are so many things that I'm like, if they had implemented this system throughout the entire game, it would have been so much better. And I point specifically to the stealth knack part, where knack is just a piece of glass, and you can get through things like laser beams, and if they had implemented an ability to sneak past enemies, it would have been really cool too. The trade-off is that you have 0 health, so if you get smacked once, you die. That would have been a really cool mechanic for them to put in the entire game. The ability to switch to stealth knack, you know?
Yeah.
Something. So, most disappointing game, but only because it didn't live up to its potential. X Rebirth. That's apparently one of the most disappointing games of the year.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's been getting horrific reviews.
That's sad.
Yeah, it's too bad because the X series is so good. And, you know, it's just kind of a blight on the series, and I hate to see that happen. Wow, my voice got really weird there for a second. Rise, best Roman game of the year, and also best graphics, period.
Yeah.
Thank you for your contribution.
I've been contributing this whole time, and now there's dead air because you took my phone.
Minecraft. Oh, that's right. Minecraft released on PSN. We're done.
Yay, we're done. So, game of the year.
Yeah, so what's your game of the year?
It's such a... you first. You first.
Me first. Gee, thanks.
I'm still deciding. It's such a hard choice.
Yeah, that is. This is a hard choice. I'm going to give my game of the year to Grand Theft Auto 5.
Okay.
Note, that does not include GTA Online. Just the core Grand Theft Auto 5 experience.
I think I'm going to have to second that. I'm going to give my runners-up to... my runners-up is definitely going to Stanley Parable. It would definitely have won hands down for me if there had been more to it.
Mm-hmm.
Because that is the most hilarious experience I've ever had in a video game.
There was just so many... And let me justify giving GTA 5. I know it's easy to go, oh, that's the most popular game of the year, so you just jumped on the bandwagon. No, it was really a phenomenal experience. Switching between 3 characters could have been an absolute disaster, and they did it so well. The story could have been a little better, but it was still intriguing enough. I thought Franklin's story was pretty pathetic.
And the heists were fun.
The heists were amazing. And the game just grabbed me and never let go. And I will say that it is very rare for me to finish an open world game.
Same here. I mean, I never finished... Well, no, that's a lie. I did eventually finish Grand Theft Auto 4. Never finished San Andreas. Never finished 3. And there's a lot of other... I never finished Red Dead Redemption. So many open world games, especially Rockstar games apparently, that I've never finished. Like, even Elder Scrolls games, things like that I don't finish. And that's because the story just doesn't drive me as much as exploration does. But in GTA, I couldn't get enough of the story.
Yeah.
It was so much fun.
And it would have been a tighter race between GTA and The Last of Us, I'm sure, if I had played more of The Last of Us. But unfortunately, did not get to that game. So we're going to take a quick look, well, possibly a quick look, at
Define quick.
2014. So the elephant in the room, of course, is Titanfall.
Where are you?
Isn't that coming out in March?
I want you inside me. I don't know. Titanfall, call me. I'm waiting for you.
Anyway. Another game coming up this year is going to be Tomb Raider, the Definitive Edition.
Whatever
If you have not tried Tomb Raider, this is your opportunity to try it, and it will be on next-gen consoles. It does include all the DLC that nobody cares about, but the big thing that it's going to offer us is the hair physics, as is so lovingly put.
There's a lot of controversy around it because the people who haven't used the hair physics think it's an amazing thing, but then there's a lot of people who do use the hair physics because they have the right NVIDIA engines and stuff like that that can run it. And some of them seem to think it doesn't work right the tech demo.
I've heard that people say that it basically looks like, and we've mentioned this before on the podcast, that it basically looks like she's underwater 100% of the time. So I'm anxious to get my hands on it and give it a try. I won't buy it because I already own the game, but I will definitely rent it. Another game coming out theoretically this year, I'll be amazed if it actually releases this year, is The Crew.
The Crew and Drive Club.
Yeah, Drive Club. I'm not too excited about Drive Club other than the fact that it's free, though.
Oh, yeah.
But The Crew, I love open world driving games. That game looks like it's going to be amazing. What really made me go, yes, I'm on board, is when they said to drive from coast to coast in that game would take you 2.5 hours.
Jesus.
I'm on board. That is a huge game.
I just hope that doesn't mean through the longest route with the slowest car.
Yeah.
But that game does look so much fun. I can't wait for it. It'll probably be a driving game that I play for a long time.
My only gripe about that game is that it is technically an MMO, and there are points where you have to play with others, and I'm like,
you can always play with your friends.
Yeah. So we'll see how that goes. I'm really, really looking forward to that game. I think Titanfall wins the most anticipated game of the year.
Hands down. Wait, not hands down. Destiny.
I was just getting ready to say Destiny. No, I'd say Titanfall.
But they're both new IPs. I don't know what to choose.
I'm saying Titanfall.
It's a knock-up. It's a toss-up for me. They're both my most anticipated games of the year.
He wants to knock them up, is what he's saying.
I do. I want them to have babies with each other so I can have Titanfall's Destiny.
Anyway.
That would be amazing.
Yeah, actually, it kind of would.
Free roaming around, leveling up, things like that. Titan, come to me! Your Titan is ready. Inbound.
So Destiny, what do you want to say about Destiny?
I want to say... Give it to me now.
I want Destiny to be good. I'm concerned about that game. From what I've seen from a personal perspective, I'm not excited for it. I have pre-ordered it because I have a lot of faith in Bungie, and their new IPs are always groundbreaking. Note, I said new IPs, not iterations of the new IPs.
They do love to break new ground when they finally get a chance, but I am very afraid because they've been chained up to Microsoft doing Halo for so long that they... I mean, I'm not saying that they've been locked in a dungeon, but I'm afraid that they might be thinking too highly of what they're doing because its competitors are basically Borderlands, and Borderlands is amazing and funny, and they're trying to make a similar game that's serious.
You know, we didn't talk about Borderlands. That released this year.
Did it release this year?
Yeah. Beginning of this year. Wasn't it a February game?
Most unfortunate game that I stopped playing.
Yeah.
But Destiny, I'm really, really wanting it to be as groundbreaking as it looks. I haven't heard anything bad from people who've played it or seen it be played, and the Bungie is probably the most heartfelt company ever. They put probably the most love into their games than I've seen any other company do that too. The attention to details, the remorse over things they have to cut, how hard it is for them to cut things out of their games too. It's just kind of this amazing way that they develop games. And if you follow Bungie at all, I don't want to say I'm a fanboy, but I'm kind of a fanboy. If there's anything I'm a fanboy
I was about to say, yes, you are.
If there's anything I'm a fanboy of, it would be Bungie, because I kind of grew up with their games.
Mm-hmm.
And
well, and Halo, Bungie, Halo and Marathon defined a lot of kids' lives as they grew up, and that's what brought them into gaming.
Yeah, especially for me. I was just kind of a very not into it gamer when I first started, because it was just kind of shitty Nintendo games.
Kind of a casual.
Yeah, I was kind of a casual gamer. I would just play these random games I could get my hands on from Blockbuster whenever I got the chance.
Oh God, does anybody remember Blockbuster?
Because I couldn't there was this other off-brand one we went to too, but
Hollywood Video?
No, it wasn't Hollywood Video. It was even lower than that. It was there was a local kind of place, and I would just get these games that I thought might be interesting, and I'd play them, and I'd only have like a week with them, and then I'd have to send them back, so I don't have too many memories of these awesome games that people think are cult classics and things like that. But I can remember playing them sometimes. And when I finally got my Xbox, I got it with Halo. And when I finally played that game, it really... It was probably my best gaming experience up to that point. Because it was so beautiful, it was so much fun, and I could play it with my friends. And, I mean, it didn't have internet play, but we had them come over, there was LAN play, we would have LAN parties and things like that. And it allowed me to do the strangest things with that game, because there was so much... I really can't describe this enough to the point that I want to. I'm just not good enough with words, really. But
it was also an extremely groundbreaking game. It changed.
Yeah. It brought first-person shooters to the console.
It brought first-person shooters to the console, but not really, because you had games like GoldenEye before that, yes, it was a first-person shooter, but it changed and made it accessible. Bungie, what a lot of people don't think about and realize is that Bungie and Halo created the two-gun system.
Yes.
Before games like GoldenEye and Marathon and Duke Nukem, you had like 5 million guns somehow strapped to you.
Yeah.
You know, and they really brought... Modern shooters have all evolved from the formula that Halo brought forward.
Yes. Now, all that being said, as kind of a Bungie fanboy, I'm not exactly a Halo fanboy. I do love Halo, but I've never always given it my game of the year just because it's Halo. I do enjoy them. Mm-hmm. But this is me defending myself. We're talking about Destiny here.
Yeah.
And I'm just really hoping it's as good as it looks like it will be. And when they were developing Reach to finish off their contract with Microsoft, they tooled around with this space combat system in that one level. And one of the things they said was they were basically testing the waters for that kind of game and see what they could do with it. Because they wanted to test their engine, see what they could do with it, see what they were able to do without first-person shooter, basically. And when I saw Destiny, I was really hoping that there would be that mixed in with it, even if it was just their way of doing space combat, which wasn't the best ever, but it was still really fun. Mm-hmm. And
I would like to see Bungie do something with space combat, because that's really a genre that's been dead this generation.
Oh, yeah.
Depressingly dead.
But I'm really hoping it's good. And that's the main thing. It's...
Mm-hmm. I want it to knock my socks off. Yes. And I'm concerned that it's not going to. That's my biggest issue with Destiny. And it's you can see Halo all over that game.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of the animations are recycled from Halo, and that concerns me.
I wouldn't say recycled, that's just their style.
Yeah, well... It's kind of hard to say that it's recycled, and also at the same time hard to say it's their style, because they've been doing Halo games. That's the only 3D game that they have done.
That's true.
You know, so it's hard to say that that's their style when it's the only thing that they've done.
But it's very reminiscent of Halo's original design, not just the most recent design. Mm-hmm. So, I would say it is their style. Because they do the whole... I don't know what to call it, the whole space armor thing very nicely. They do it very elegantly.
They almost wrote the book on that.
Oh, yeah.
Really. So let's see, what else is coming out this year? Plants vs. PvZ Garden Warfare.
Yes.
I look forward to that game. That game looks adorably awesome.
Most outrageous expanse into a new genre for a franchise.
It just looks like fun. I mean,
yeah.
It looks like Horde mode on crack, and I love it. I'm into it.
Yeah.
Totally into it. Sadly, I don't think it's going to be...
Well, it's not just the Horde mode. It has the PvP stuff.
No,
too.
Yeah, I know. But it's the Horde mode that makes me go...
Yeah.
That makes my bikini area tickle.
You wear a bikini?
No. This is a Ryan McCaffrey thing, sorry.
Don't steal jokes. It's not what we're about here on Desert Gaming Podcast.
Except I do it all the time.
What? Why are you even here?
Let's see. What else is
You're demoted to scriptwriter. I mean, we don't have a script.
We don't have a script, we have a planner, and I do that anyway.
What I mean is you're not allowed to speak on the podcast.
God, what else?
Stop dying, you need to write the next planner.
Oh, isn't The Witcher 3 coming out this year?
Maybe?
Possibly.
I don't really care enough about The Witcher, honestly.
I'm interested in that game. Another game that's coming out this year, I believe, is Metal Gear Solid 5.
Elder Scrolls Online is coming out this year, I think.
I could care less. I couldn't care less about that game.
Yeah. Not too enthused. Let's see, what else?
The Division is supposed to come out this year, but there are rumors that it's been delayed to 2015.
Oh.
Yeah.
So it look good.
Yeah, but you know what? If they're delaying it for polish, I'm all for it.
Oh, yeah. Doesn't, no, I think that's still to be dated, the 1887 game?
The
Order.
Yeah, The Order. Yeah, that's a TBD game. And we're actually gonna go ahead and cut that short because we're running a bit long.
Oh, yeah.
So we're gonna go ahead and segue into we have a really quick mailbag, and it's a one email mailbag.
We got another email, folks.
Yeah, we actually have
Except the first one wasn't an email, it was a comment, but whatever, we got another question.
Yeah, we actually got an email. I was looking at my email, and I was like, what the hell is this? And then I realized I was like, oh, we got our first email! Yeah!
Yay!
So, yes, we did have a quick listener question sent to us at desertgamingpodcast@gmail.com. If you want to be cool like Les. Les is a truck driver, and if I can pull up his email, here we go. Les tells us, howdy, I found your podcast Monday morning and have listened to 3 of the 4 episodes so far.
Oh, sweet.
And he actually listened to the 4th one today because he followed my other Twitter account.
Well, thanks a lot, Les.
Yeah, thank you so much for listening. And he says, I must say they're really enjoyable. I'm a truck driver, so I have plenty of time for podcasts, and it's nice to have a local podcast to listen to. So he is from Arizona, probably from Phoenix.
Oh, cool.
He says, you 3 have very good chemistry together and seem fairly knowledgeable. My one suggestion is that you just maybe slow down a little when you want to talk so you don't stumble over what you want to say, which is legitimate.
We do talk fast, and that's actually grown from our first episode. Because if you'll remember, our first episode was almost 3 hours long because of how much we had to get through.
Right.
So we just feel kind of rushed because we don't want this to be too long, but we don't want it to be too short. Because this one was almost too short, but we've actually lengthened it out somehow.
Yeah, it's actually almost too long now.
Yeah. There are a lot of things we need to do, and it'll come with time. We need to stop talking over each other. We need to stop talking so fast. We need to explain ourselves better. We need to collect our thoughts. We're still learning this. We're getting into it.
But I absolutely appreciate that feedback because it's a pitfall of mine. I tend to talk too fast, and I always trip over my words. So, I forgot to actually watch myself this time, but I will definitely take that into consideration whenever I'm talking in the future because it is something that we need to work on if we're trying to present a more professional sounding podcast.
I think what we need to do is we need to relax more.
I actually agree with that. I agree with that because I feel sometimes we almost come off as we're just kind of sitting here filleting ourselves about our podcast, aren't we? I feel that sometimes we come off like we are sitting in there acting in front of a microphone, and we're not always organic. And I think, that's something that's going to come with time. But I do appreciate that feedback, and we will definitely do what we can to work on that. So thank you, Les. So he continues on to say, other than that, I think the show is solid. A question for the show that I thought of was, since you guys have both systems now and have had time to spend on them, what did they miss on? Is there something they screwed up? They did, but they screwed up on it badly? Or is there something that they didn't include? And yes, Les, we have actually spoken about this before in our episodes, but not really in length. Yeah. So we are a little short on time, so we're going to brush over this briefly again, but I may go ahead and make sure that we retouch on it in our next episode. Actually, how far are we in our time here?
I said just over 2 hours.
Oh, is it just over 2 hours?
Just a guess. You're the one with the timer.
We're almost at 3 hours.
Oh, whoa!
2 hours, 44 minutes.
The Game of the Year segment lasted a while.
Yeah, well, we kind of went... Well, it was a long list. Okay.
You went back over it, that's why.
So, we're going to touch on this very briefly, and then I promise I'll make sure that I make a note that we do talk about it more in our next episode.
All right, you want to go first?
Yeah, Kinect for the Xbox One. And the voice commands. The voice commands in Xbox One, and I mentioned this before, they're atrocious.
They're not intuitive.
No, they're not intuitive at all. You have to say exactly what Xbox expects you to say, or fuck it all, it has no idea what you're saying.
And it didn't really come with a pamphlet saying, these are your voice commands or anything. It presented itself as an intuitive system, but it's not. It is a very, do this by what you need to do, otherwise it's not going to work kind of thing.
Right, and I mentioned this before after the Xbox One launched. It's like, when you say Xbox on... Okay, it didn't turn on. It didn't turn on. When you say Xbox, when you say
I don't
that,
think it's plugged into the wall.
when you say that, you can have it turn your TV on. That's great. It's awesome. Unless you have your TV already on. Because then it turns your TV off because all it's doing is pressing a power button. They could have built a more intuitive system than that.
Yeah.
Also, if I say something like, Xbox, call Tyler, it has no idea what I'm saying because it expects me to say Xbox, Skype Tyler. That's stupid.
There needs to be more leeway with the voice commands. And it's a very hard thing to program. Voice commands is this very complicated programming algorithm, and it's this way of getting a computer to interpret audio. And it's not an easy thing, and I can understand that. But at the same time, I don't see there's too much point in having it if it's not easy. Because the whole point of it is to make things easier, but if it's not intuitive, it's not easy.
And the other thing, and you pointed it out, is when you say Xbox on, it doesn't always turn your Xbox.
It's still not turning on. We've said it 5 times now.
Exactly. And I realized that was programmed into the Xbox so that saying that in just general conversation didn't accidentally turn it on.
Maybe there has to be like a moment of space or something, but there's no...
I mean,
there's nothing that says
in the morning, I have to... You've got a call coming in.
Ignore it.
Okay. In the morning, I have to sit up and lean forward, and that's just because I'm too far away from from the microphone to pick up for Connect. And sit there and say about 2 or 3 times, Xbox on. And then it finally there we go. That's my Xbox
You have
voice.
to mean business
Well,
when you talk to the Xbox.
That's my Xbox voice. It's like talking to a small child.
It really is. You need to show that you're in charge. And that you're the one who knocks. So,
they were being a little too overly cautious with that part of the system. The other thing about the Xbox One is the user interface is atrocious.
And I honestly feel that the PS4 has that same problem.
Yeah,
in a way.
I kind of feel that way too.
It's very hard to find what you're looking for, especially when it comes to settings. And you can't, especially with the Xbox One settings screen, it's very confusing because some things you think would be in one section isn't in that section. It's in another subsection of another section.
And some things that were changeable on the Xbox 360 aren't on the Xbox
Yes,
One.
and especially with the PS4, that has the same problem. I remember the PS3 being this super settings. The list, you could scroll through the list forever.
You could change printer settings. You could change screen settings. You could change audio settings. You could change all these crazy things that you wouldn't normally be able to change on a console.
And the PS4 is just very simplified, and there's not as much customizability to it. And I personally like a lot of settings, so I can adjust things if I need to, or if I don't need to, then I don't care. Because more is always better. Because if there's more and you don't need it, you just don't need it. There's no drawback.
By the way, Xbox turn off. Yes.
Sometimes that works for me. But it didn't this time. Nope.
You tried it.
It might need an update. It doesn't respond to anything if there's an update.
Oh well. So those are my gripes about the Xbox One. I mean, I mentioned this before. The way to find demos on the Xbox One.
You have to search through Bing.
Xbox, Bing, game demos. Excuse me?
I don't understand that. Why isn't there just a setting in the marketplace?
And I think that them combining all the games into a game is a game is a game was a bad idea.
I think another gripe I have with both of them is customizability. The only thing you can customize with the user interface for the Xbox One is the color of everything. The background will always be black and boring, and it'll change when you hover over a game or something. That's about it. But I liked having my own flair on my 360. And with the PS3, you could change your background stuff too. I don't know how to do that on the PS4, or even if you can.
It's
just this blue.
I don't think you can. I absolutely agree with that. And that's weird because, as you just mentioned, you could do it. There were different backgrounds on the PlayStation 3, and there just aren't on the PS4. Another thing that kind of a little gripe of mine on the Xbox One is achievements. When you get an achievement in Xbox 360, you can press the guide button and it will very quickly bring up the little mini guide and tell you about the achievement and what you did.
And it'll pause your game.
Yeah.
There have been certain times with the Xbox One where it won't pause
in the Xbox
when I'm looking
One,
for the achievement.
In the Xbox One, when an achievement pops up, if you want to see what that achievement was about, it takes you out of the game and opens up the achievements
tab.
App.
Yeah, it's an app.
That's clunky.
Yes.
I don't like that at all.
And you have to hold down the Xbox button for 3 or 4 seconds
Right.
to do it.
Exactly. It just kind of... They took one step forward because achievements are really awesome in the Xbox One, but 3 steps back in terms of accessing them.
Very much so.
Now, Microsoft has always shown an aptitude for change, so I would imagine that the next major update that they do, will address a lot of these things, but for now, the user interface is pathetic.
Yes.
Um,
And I also don't like how I see 3 versions of Rise, Son of Rome, when I haven't played it in a month.
mm-hmm.
You're showing up at the bottom, saying like, hey, you played this, right? You want to play it, because you've only played 2 things. You gotta play this, man. It's like the only thing left. It's desperate. My Xbox is desperate for my attention.
I can tell.
That's why it won't turn off.
Xbox, turn off. Yes.
I'm telling you, it must have an update. Oh, shit! Oh. It's off. Yeah.
So we've ragged on the Xbox One a little bit. Let's rag on the PS4. What do we not like about the PS4?
I don't quite like the touchpad. It can be used in interesting ways, but the way it's done on the controller, it's also a button.
Mm-hmm.
And countless times, especially watching other people use it, when they swipe or something, it's very easy to put slightly too much pressure on it and press the button and activate something completely different, and it negates whatever you're trying to swipe into it.
See, I've never had that issue because knowing that it's a button, I always very lightly swipe. My issue with the touchpad is that it is completely underutilized. It is. Yeah. It is in 90% of the games that are available on PS4 right now. It is a button, and that is all it is.
Well, for Warframe, it's actually how you use your special abilities. You swipe left, up, nice. Down, right. Killzone, it uses it, but you don't need to use it in Killzone.
Right, it's the OWL system.
Yeah. I can understand a lot of first-party games that's why they're going to do it.
Because they're going to show it off. But none of the third-party games have really taken advantage of it at all. And that's concerning to me because it's a major feature of the controller, and because I think it's an innovative thing that they can use. However, I think it could have been better than what it is.
Yeah.
And it's concerning to me. I want to see them use this system more. Another thing that I'm not crazy about is, mostly what I'm not crazy about on the controller for the PS4 is things being completely not utilized. I wish they had completely removed that light bar because it's pointless.
What, the thing in the back of the controller?
Yeah. I mean, it's cool, but how often are you going to go, ooh, look, my health's low?
It would make sense if you're playing in a completely dark room or something, so you can see your whole room light up based on, well, at least what's in front of you, light up based on what's going on your controller.
Mm-hmm.
But it's behind the controller. If it was like on the bottom of the controller where your headset and stuff plug into where you can see it,
that makes more sense.
That would make more sense, but it's not.
But it was intended to be bear in mind, the reason that it's there is because originally PlayStation Camera was going to come bundled with the PlayStation 4 in every box.
Yes.
They kicked that to the curb so that they could be $100 cheaper than the Xbox One.
Right.
Unfortunately, they should have reworked it a little bit. The other issue that I have with the light bar is it's going to glare against your TV in dark times. Bad for gamers.
Very.
Glare is bad.
Glare is very bad.
Bad
PS4. Bad. No cookies for you.
I like, a lot of people complain about the speaker and the controller.
I don't mind it. I think it's very
love
high
that.
Quality. I don't.
No, well, they complain about the thing existing in the first place.
Oh, I don't really care about that. It's actually very immersive to me.
Mm-hmm.
When I played a little bit of Warframe, and I know you haven't played it yet on PS4, but when you play it on PS4, the lady who tells you what's going on in the mission and stuff, I keep forgetting, Lotus. Her name's Lotus. She talks to you through the controller,
which is awesome.
Which is very awesome because it's closer to you. It's not coming out in the background noise muffled by gunfire and things like that. It's in your hands. It keeps you in the know. It tells you what's going on because she tells you when like an attack wave is coming. She tells you when you've completed your objective and you need to move on, which you might not always know because it's a co-op game. You play it with other people who are doing the same thing. So if you're held off somewhere trying to fight people off while the other people are doing the objective, she'll tell you when you can run to the exit. And it's right there in your hands. And admittedly, sometimes it's too loud or too quiet, but there is a way to adjust the volume for it in-game and through the PS4 itself.
I just remember the first time you encountered the speaker, it scared the living shit out
Oh
of
yeah,
you.
Resogun.
No, it wasn't Resogun.
Oh,
It was
Resogun?
Killzone. It was Killzone Shadowfall when you picked up the first audio.
Oh yeah, the audio logs in Killzone.
Which is an awesome way to use that microphone. I love that.
Yeah, it's not like the audio logs in BioShock or something like that. It was something that you could listen to because it was separate. When things play through the same speaker, they all kind of muffle together.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why cutscenes are sometimes very important, because they put everything in view. You're not distracted by anything. But when the audio is coming out of the TV and the controller close to you, you can pay attention to the source that's closer to you and more interesting and more what is it, less...
With less distraction?
With less distraction, because you're not trying to listen to it over the sounds of gunfire, because it's right there. Because it's not being mixed together with it.
I don't know. That's been a big complaint of a lot of people. I really actually like having the speaker there.
I do like the speaker.
Another thing that I'm going to gripe on the controller, and it's not really the controller, it's just Sony's decision, is that I appreciate that they put a headset in the box, but that headset is hot garbage.
It's ass.
It is the worst headset I have ever experienced in my entire life. So let's see, what else?
Countless times been tempted to buy the $25 one that they have.
I'm holding off on... That was actually a Best Buy product. It was a Rocket Fish thing.
Really?
So, yeah.
I thought the PlayStation had one too.
They may. I'm holding off and trying to save up some money for the Afterglow headset. Just because it's universal, so I can use it with all of my stuff instead of having to have, like Turtle Beach, one with Xbox, one with PlayStation, one for PC.
Right.
And it's wireless, which is a big
Is it
plus
Bluetooth?
too. It's not Bluetooth. I don't know how specifically it hooks up. I have to look.
Happy
You okay,
dying
Hap?
again.
We're at 3 hours.
Yay!
This is a long podcast, folks.
Longest
Sorry.
podcast yet. Happy New Year.
I agree with you. The interface is not the most intuitive thing on PlayStation 4. I think one of the biggest issues I have is that it only runs one app at a time.
On the PS4?
Mm-hmm.
There are some things that'll run simultaneously.
Mm-hmm.
Like Netflix can run in the background if you're switching to another video app, I think.
Oh, I didn't know.
Because I've had issues, or I haven't had issues with it, but I've had times where I didn't have to close the previous app. Either it automatically closed or it, I don't know.
The other issue that we have is getting, for one thing, sharing video clips just doesn't work right now if you're not in Facebook. And that's just because...
And not even that. I think I talked about this last time. There have been times when I've tried to press the share button and it doesn't save the last 15 minutes or last minute or anything. It saves 15 minutes from an hour ago.
So, I mean, that's just a bug that needs to be worked out, but it's still a legitimate complaint. It doesn't work. PlayStation and Sony need to get their act together with YouTube and hurry up and get that all sorted out. But the Twitch integration is fucking amazing.
It is. It has this nice little user interface for when you're streaming, so you can see the most recent chat messages that people leave you. You can use Facecam. You can use the microphone on the camera itself. You can use the one that came bundled with the PS4. I just figured out I could use it with any USB headset. It's actually just, it's very simple, very easy, and it's going to help grow the streaming community.
Mm-hmm. It already unbelievably will.
Oh, yeah.
Another gripe I have about the PS4 is the size of the power and the location of the power and the disc eject buttons.
Oh, yeah.
I have issues with those because
Am I like
they're
the only
tiny.
person that doesn't?
Probably.
That's weird.
Yeah. Well, you are weird, so no. Ah! Don't make me kick the microphone.
That would be bad.
Yes. Trophies are still kind of clunky because they don't sync automatically.
Yeah, that's a bit off.
Which is, that was what they were in PS3, but come on, Sony.
Yeah.
This is next gen.
I want to go back to the Xbox real quick because I forgot to mention the gripe. I still don't like the triggers on it. I still feel like I'm about to break my finger because I'm expecting them to go back farther.
Mm-hmm.
That's
I like the ergonomics of the triggers. I
Yeah.
do not like how far they press in, and
I mean, how little they press in.
that's what I mean. That can be taken either way.
Yeah, okay, sorry.
That's all right. Semantics.
Semantics.
The other thing, and I didn't mention this when we were talking Xbox, is yet another underutilized thing is the rumble triggers.
Yeah.
The impulse triggers are completely not utilized in anything but first party, and I understand that. But it concerns me because we've got now two systems that have two different things on them. So how much, if you're a third party developer developing a game for the PlayStation 4 and for the Xbox One, are you going to utilize and take that development time and money to make sure that the rumble triggers, the impulse triggers in the Xbox One are completely utilized awesomely, and the touchpad is completely utilized awesomely? Because that's programming for two completely different systems. Whereas in last generation, you had pretty much the same button count, maybe an extra button or two on the controllers, and that's it. You didn't have different functions like that.
Yeah.
So that's a real concern for me those are going to die because third-party developers are just not going to use them.
Yeah.
Trying to think if there's any more gripes on PlayStation 3's interface. Again, is not that great. I don't like the party system at all. Of course, I hate the party system. I hate the...
You said PlayStation 3.
4, sorry. I meant PlayStation 4. I don't like the party system at all. I'm glad they added cross-game chat. It's still clunky.
It is.
It's not as bad as the Xbox One's, but it is clunky.
And I've had an issue with notifications not going away.
I've had that issue too. I've noticed that as well. But because we're at 3 hours, I'm going to cut us short.
Motherfucker.
I'm sorry, but we're at 3 hours. We don't want to bore people with our sexy voices.
Oh, yeah.
So
you know you want my voice in your ear holes.
We will come back to this and talk a little bit more about this subject in our next episode, Les, I promise you. By the way, Les, shoot me a quick tweet if you want us to read your gamer tag aloud on the show to get you some new friends. I know a lot of podcasts, well-known podcasts that do this, but I always want to make sure that it's okay with you so that we don't give away personal information that you'd rather us not give away.
You could have tweeted him before the show.
Shut up. So, you're responsible for our outro.
Yay! That has been episode 5.
That has been. This has been.
That has been. We're done now. That has been. Past tense works.
This has been episode 5 of Desert Gaming Podcast.
We unfortunately don't have a co-op catastrophe for you this week because we are fresh out of them. You need to send them to us. Co-op catastrophes are basically things where things went horribly wrong during, playing with your friends.
Well, we did have one with Daisy, but we are going to skip it. You had one with Daisy with Tyler, but we're going to...
I am Tyler. You mean with Brian.
I'm tired.
There are other gaming stories we could tell. We might do those just in the meantime. Because they are cooperative, they're not exactly catastrophes, but they're pretty awesome.
But please send us yours that you would like to share with our listeners, because we want more stories. We love stories.
We like to share stories, and we like other people's stories because they're fresh, they're new.
So email those to us at desertgamingpodcast@gmail.com.
I was gonna say that! Time to plug!
Let's plug things.
What are we currently working on? What are you currently working on? You're still working on your Xbox One review,
I am still working on my Xbox One review. Unfortunately, I did not get much progress done as I was hoping I would on my vacation. So it was less of a working vacation than I thought. Although I did have... Well, I won't get into that. But yeah. I am still working on it. I'm almost done with it. I'm going to be talking about the user interface in my last segment, and then I'll be wrapping it up and sending it to my editor.
What? I'm an editor now?
Yep.
Sweet, new title.
Other than that, I'm not working on anything else.
Okay. I have actually just released 2 DayZ videos with my new friend Crucif. He's got his channel. It is at he's on Twitter at Crucif, Krusif, and he's on YouTube /Rixoraptor. It's RIXORAPTOR, something like that. You can just search for Crucif. He's the first channel that comes up.
And he's awesome, and he's British.
He's hilarious. He's awesome.
I had a chance to speak with him. This is my first time meeting him, quote unquote meeting him, over Skype before we started the podcast, and he is really awesome. So I hope that we can get him on the podcast at some point. But since he is in the UK, that's a little difficult, and then we obviously don't have a budget.
Yeah, time zones are a bit of a thing.
Yeah.
But we will get him on here at some point because he's a very interesting and hilarious person. But he is a big... I know I'm supposed to be plugging my stuff right here, but I'm plugging him first because he's awesome.
Well, we'll also try to get him on Skype on the podcast. We just have to figure out a better setup.
Yeah. There's he's also... his main thing right now is he's going to be doing a lot of streaming. He's on twitch.tv. You just search for Crucif once again. And he's going to be doing that a lot. He's really ramping up his Twitch for for full-scale streaming action. And I'll definitely be doing a lot more videos with him because that is so much fun. Which, speaking of, back to the first part, I did 2 DayZ videos with him, and we had a lot of fun. He has his own perspective on his YouTube channel. I plan on possibly doing some Rust videos, maybe Rust streaming, maybe 7 Days to Die. I'm not sure. That one's a little bit iffier.
Well, we can do streaming of DayZ too once I actually have the time to play.
Oh
it.
yeah, we can all do streaming because we're all running around in DayZ trying to find each other constantly. But when we all find each other, maybe we will record something because that'll be fun. And I think that's about it. I'm trying to locate some voice acting gigs. My last one fell through because I didn't apply in time. So if you have any need for a voice actor of this amazing quality,
His voice is rather sexy.
oh yeah,
It's hard for me to keep my hands off him.
all the time. He's always grabbing me in sexy places.
Actually, he'd kick me out if I did that.
I have kicked him out. No, Brian kicked him out. You touched Brian's butt. Anyway, if you need a voice actor, please contact me at Fawkestrot. That is at F-A-K.
Fawkestrot.
At FAWKES_TROT.
We're getting to that though.
I'm plugging now because I can. And Jack is...
Well,
Which one are you at now? I'm not sure if you're keeping your...
Patience. I was going to say something.
But I finished plugging, so now we move on to the next part where we plug Twitter. That's a foot in my face. I'm going to beat your ass.
I was going to say something. Oh, I will be trying to actually actively blog on my IGN blog. But it's as time allows because I do have 2 jobs and we're doing this personal work with the podcast. So as time allows, I will be blogging if I can. So keep an eye out for that. Twitter. We're on Twitter.
We're on Twitter. I've already given you mine.
Yes. Tyler's at Fawkestrot.
I already said that.
I don't care. I'm reiterating
Why would you do that?
Tyler is at Fawkestrot.
You were wasting time. We're over 3 hours.
That is F-A...
You're wasting it by repeating things that I've already said. Your foot is no longer a threat to me, sir. I am at Fawkestrot at FAWKES_TROT.
Yes, and I am at Inuhanyu1701. That is INUHANYOU1701. My game night Twitter account is still active, but I will have it redirecting to Inuhanyu.
And Brian is not on Twitter or anything, so don't try it.
Yeah, don't bother. Thank you so much for downloading our podcast. You can find us, well, for the moment anyway, possibly. You can find us on iTunes. Just search for Desert Gaming Podcast. I didn't change that in the planner.
Why do you never change it in the planner?
Because I copy and paste it.
Why do you do that?
Rate us, subscribe us, review us. We love that feedback.
Feedback helps us grow. It helps us know, and it helps it snow.
Just a real quick note, although if you're listening to this, then this is probably too late. We are running up on some storage constraints with our current hosting solution, so we are, after this podcast, going to be debating about whether we're just going to upgrade or whether we're going to go ahead and move our entire shindig over to Podbean. So if we do decide to move over to Podbean, this podcast will be going off of iTunes for a short time because because of the way that Apple runs their system, we have to request that they remove the podcast, and then we have to resubmit our podcast for them to re-include into their marketplace. So if you're listening to this, you probably are wondering where we disappeared to and why we're not back. So thank you so much for sticking with us. We're also now on Stitcher for you Android folk, or for you Stitcher folk, for people that like Stitcher. Please find us there. Just, again, search us by name, Desert Gaming Podcast. And thank you, Stitcher, for tweeting about us, because it seems to have gotten us some traffic.
Really? Mm-hmm. That's good.
You can also find us on my IGN blog page. That URL is ign.com/blogs/Inuhanyu1701. Again, that is INUHANYOU1701.
And then, as always, there's my YouTube page where I upload these in case all else fails. That is youtube.com/FAWKESTROTFILMS. Or you can just search for Fawkestrot. What are you doing?
I'm missing my 8th page for some reason.
How dare you, sir? Just a quick warning for...
we already did that.
How dare you,
just did
sir?
that.
Remember to email us with questions, suggestions, or constructive criticism.
And
that email, I am getting to it.
I have something else to say.
You bitch.
And once again, and I always point this out, the key word in that is constructive criticism. Just like Les did, thank you so much for that for the constructive criticism that you gave us. We definitely will be incorporating that into our show. Constructive criticism, anything that is flaming, anything that says, you guys shouldn't be on the internet, blah, 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 we are going to ignore that. So don't waste your time, don't waste ours. That email
is desertgamingpodcast@gmail.com. I'm not going to spell it out, it's fairly easy.
And in a less stupid way of saying it, that is, and a more clear way of saying it, that is desertgamingpodcast@gmail.com.
That's what I said.
Yes, in a very weird voice that they might not have understood.
Bullshit! Anyway, it's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new year. Welcome to 2014, listeners. That's 2014, 2014. We'll be here for you twice a month, and we'll increase to once a week if we get enough requests and listeners. For now, we bid you goodbye. See you in 2 weeks. Apparently, Jackson wants you to keep it real.
See you in 2 weeks, guys. Keep it real.
Peace,
and as always, thank you for listening.
We are out.